Blame both of you.
Whatever. We saw earlier today a member of the BBWAA, Baseball Writers Association of America, Francis Romero, say several industry sources believe the San Diego Padres are in a strong position to land Japanese ace Roki Sasaki. Now, you sent that to me earlier, and I'm like, well,
according to Fadden, it's a nothing burger.
Right. Ben Fadden talking Friars is nothing.
Stop.
But now again, he covers the sport. Several industry sources believe the Padres are in a strong position. Now, that doesn't mean they're the only team in a strong position. So I was kind of like, okay, we'll see. But then there was this. Let's hear from Jon Heyman and react. Jon Heyman, baseball reporter, regarding Roki Sasaki and the possibility of the Padres.
Sasaki, I think that the Padres have a real shot at Sasaki. I know a lot of people favor the Dodgers right from the start. As I wrote in my column today about hoping that the Dodgers don't land Sasaki, Soto, and Teo, all three of them, I do believe that the Padres are a threat in that case. And I've heard that Sasaki very much admires Yu Darvish, and that gives the Padres some sincere hope to land Sasaki. But I think those are still the two favorites. Everybody would want him. 23-year-old pitcher, superstar, throws 102 miles an hour. Any team would want him, but I think those are the favorites. I'm going to say the Padres have a little bit more chance than I thought previously.
Little bit more chance than I thought previously. So Francis Romero says industry sources believe the Padres are in a strong position. Jon Heyman kind of backs that up. I mean, is that a where there's smoke, there's fire situation?
I'm going to read it that way. Like we've been talking a lot about don't take too much into random reports by random people.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the guy that announced it today? It was
Francis Romero.
Francis Romero.
I think it's Francis.
Francis Romero.
Yeah.
He's a writer for the BBWA.
Yes.
And he has reported things before. I'm looking at his timeline, and it doesn't look like some troll trying to just get some clicks and some likes and some retweets.
Right. He's a member of the Baseball Writers Association of America. And yeah, I don't know. I honestly, I don't know.
So I see that and I'm like, okay, I'll take that. I'll take it at face value. We'll talk about it, but I'm not going to make it like, oh my gosh, they're going to sign Sasaki. Heyman starts talking about it. You get multiple people saying kind of the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then I say, okay, there's some smoke there. There's some smoke there for sure. Now, am I going to get my hopes up? Yeah, probably. I probably will. Will I be probably let down in the end when he goes to the Dodgers? Yeah, probably. Absolutely, I will. But at this point in time, like you said, when the Dodgers signed Blake Snell, you had it right away. Like, this might feel like, hey, they don't know for sure if they're going to get Sasaki, so we need to sign somebody to make sure that if we don't get Sasaki, we have somebody, and that's Blake Snell.
That honestly, man, I honestly felt that way the moment I saw it, and I could be dead wrong. I mean, there's such an embarrassment of riches that they could load up.
They could everybody, yeah.
They could be Snell, Sasaki, and more, truthfully. But when you sign Blake Snell to a $180 million deal, does that scream we're also going to land another starting pitcher when you're getting Tyler Glasnow back, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Now, our buddy, friend of the show, he's been on more than we have, Darnay Tripp, followed up to that Romero tweet from earlier saying, haven't we known for like a year that the Padres are strongly positioned to land Roki Sasaki? I do think that's accurate. And that's why I feel as if since the end of the postseason for the Padres, we've spent more time on Sasaki than any other one player because it has made sense. There have been other reports. Why did AJ Preller randomly mention at Peter Seidler's memorial conversing about Roki Sasaki? Honestly, it's a little bit of what we said yesterday about they want a payroll with parameters. It's almost like he said the silent part out loud at that memorial service because he was just giving the example of how Peter was so heavily invested in the organization that he would have conversations with him late at night about Roki Sasaki. That wasn't just random. I mean, they've obviously been, think about that. Peter's been gone for over a year, and AJ Preller and Peter Seidler had conversed on Roki Sasaki. That's how far back this goes with the Padres.
Yeah, you're right, Darnay. We have known for well over a year that the Padres and Peter and AJ were all interested in Roki Sasaki.
Right.
But I look at this report as not the Padres are interested in Roki Sasaki, that when I hear words like they have a real shot to land Roki Sasaki, I'll run with that. Sure. I'll be the gullible one. I'll run with that one. But it's and especially from who it came from. Like, it's not from MLB Insider 6969 on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
It's somebody that is tied in, doesn't get 100% things right, but he's still tied in. Jon Heyman, right? So it's not a pass and bomb. Passan only tweets things when things actually happen. And Heyman and everyone else does all the rumor stuff. But yeah, I'll run with it. And I think that having that as like some type of hope, I'll latch onto that until we find out where he decides to go. The tough part is
he hasn't even
we
been
have
posted.
like a well over a month of this left.
Right. So that's what I think, that the real next bomb related to Sasaki is not his landing spot. It's he's been posted. Yeah. He's going to meet with this team. That's my guess. I think that before he actually signs with the club, we'll learn officially about his posting and we'll learn about possible destinations. Like, I don't think it goes from posting to signing immediately. I think he's going to meet with teams. I think they'll make formal offers or presentations, and he'll determine what he wants and what he doesn't want. Like, I don't think we're hours away, because we're not. I mean, he's not going to be posted, and he can't officially sign until January 15th. So there will be speculation. But why is there speculation like this? It cannot solely be clickbait speculation. There has to be something behind. Why did people initially say the Dodgers? Why have people said the Padres? Why aren't they saying as much the Mets or the Yankees or the Red Sox? There has to be something more than just Jon Heyman going on some podcast and saying that.
Well, because you can just put two and two together. Like, okay, what we just said there, the ties between Roki Sasaki and the Padres are Yu Darvish, and how much AJ Preller is infatuated with Roki Sasaki, mentioning his name at the Peter Seidler Memorial. You know, Roki Sasaki and the Dodgers, you got Yamamoto and you got Ohtani as their teammates, and they're also the Dodgers. Mm-hmm. So it's easy to put two and two together with both of those teams. And it does kind of feel like a two-horse race. I'd be surprised if he goes to someone other than the Dodgers or the Padres. If he signed it with like the Phillies or the Mets or the Giants, I would be very surprised at this point. A lot of things can change because this is going to drag out for at least another month. It's not even, we're not even at December 15th yet, right, which would then be the month mark until he can sign in the 2025 period. So we have over a month of this left. But doesn't it feel like to you, John, when I'm hearing stuff from Jon Heyman and Ben Badler of Baseball America, and he puts out there because he
hit the Padres second.
He had the Padres second with the Dodgers number one. So to me, it's like a two-horse race, in my opinion. Two-horse race between the Dodgers and the Padres for Sasaki.
The problem is, and honestly, I feel similar to that, and I think that will ultimately be what comes of this, but you don't want to be in a two-horse race if you're the second horse, right? Like there's no finishing second. Like, truthfully, we'll never know this. Maybe they finished second for Ohtani 7-8 years ago. Well, great. Who cares?
No one cares about second place.
And I don't think they did because there was no universal DH. Or maybe they finished second for who was the Japanese outfielder that the Cubs signed?
Seiya Suzuki.
Seiya Suzuki. Maybe they finished second. And there's been another name or two in there over the last decade when Preller's been there. There's no consolation prize. I mean, the truth is, with a player of his caliber and with maybe 25 of the teams wanting him, like actually wanting him, you could argue, wow, finishing second, like that's pretty impressive. There were 20 other teams that wish they were in contention, but you get nothing. There's no value in it. And if it is Dodgers, Padres, Dodgers, Padres, Dodgers, Padres, and he ends up with the Dodgers, there's no winning there. There's just losing. So I still haven't heard anyone say, like even Romero today, that the Padres are in a strong position, or Heyman, whatever he just said in that clip, which is
they have a real shot.
They have a real shot, and I feel better about them than I did previously up against the Dodgers. But nobody's saying they're the favorite.
No.
But they're not saying they're not either.
Right. And there's differences between like Roki Sasaki will go to the Padres.
Yeah, 100%. That's way different. Yeah.
And
you're right.
What we are talking about right now, which is from Jon Heyman, and I want to give Francis Romero like the credibility mark, and him saying things like, yeah, they're we'll read that again. It was they were they have a good shot to land him, or they
sources.
Okay.
So that implies multiple people have told him this. A Baseball Writers of America, member.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't be making this up. Sources, several industry sources believe the Padres are in a strong position.
Strong position. That's the word. Yeah.
I mean, that's a very bold thing to post. Honestly, like you don't post that and then a week later find out he's going to the Dodgers. That's going to make you look bad. If you post that, that's a strongly worded tweet. When you say someone's in a strong position to land Roki Sasaki, I think you're implying, whether he means to or not, you're implying that they're the favorite.
Well, also, if he did go to the Dodgers, I feel like that tweet is not going to fully backfire because it's not saying like the Padres are Sasaki's preferred destination. That would be one thing.
Right.
You're basically stating that through industry sources, he is hearing that the Padres' chances of landing Roki Sasaki, they have a good chance and that they're well positioned to land him.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, things can change. And then hearing Heyman say that, yeah, they have a real shot to do this. So I think it's a 2-horse race. It might be 51-49 either way. Maybe Dodgers 51, Padres 49. I don't know. But there's no way that I can sit here. And then AJ Caswell talking about yesterday as far as like the priorities for the Padres, Roki Sasaki close to the top on that one. Dennis has talked about Roki Sasaki a lot. I'm sure Kevin has heard a lot about Roki Sasaki.
Is Kevin chilling for a little bit?
Kevin's on a little MIA tour.
Maybe, I don't blame him. Working 8 straight months.
You need a little bit of time off.
Okay.
But it just feels like hearing these things and seeing the smoke, and potentially as the days go on, as we get closer to January 15th, the smoke cloud getting bigger and bigger, that the Padres do have a real shot to land Sasaki, and it's a 2-horse race between them and the Dodgers.
I mean, I hope we'll be validated when this all ends, and I hope he ends up with the Padres because nobody's going to spend more time on it than we will. But I think it's with I think there's a reason as to why we've done it, because you look at the Padres and where they are with the financial situation that we've talked about, that Sasaki is their best option for relevancy in the National League to continue moving forward. It's stupid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying 2025, put all your chips in the Roki Sasaki basket. That's not even.
But if they don't get Sasaki, that's going to be a massive bummer.
It's going to be a huge bummer. And I think if you do land him, I can look more positively on what 2025 and beyond is going to bring, because the Dodgers are coming off a World Series. The Dodgers are reloading as well. How are you countering? Not that you have to counter everything the Dodgers do, but I mean, give me Roki Sasaki and let's go.
He's the one move that the Padres can realistically make without, breaking the parameters that are set for AJ Preller, that can really help you overtake the Dodgers in a postseason series. You know how great it would have been if Roki Sasaki was available to pitch for the Padres instead of having Dylan Cease on 3 days rest in October?
It would have been nice.
It would have been really nice. And they need a move to at least counter whatever the Dodgers are doing. And it can't be signing players, so you're going to have to get creative. And this is the most creative way, the most cost-effective way, and you're getting the guy that everybody in the industry thinks is like the next big thing, pitching-wise.
All right, more on this on the other side. Plus, John Fanta, Fox Sports, great college basketball voice. His thoughts on the Aztecs to this point into the month of December. He'll join us at 2:30. It's Jon and Jim. All right, Sean Fant is going to join us in 10 minutes. We do have Aztec basketball tickets to give away for Saturday. We'll do it this hour. We have 2 pairs of tickets to give away one of those pairs this hour. We're talking about Roki Sasaki and where will he land, 23-year-old pitching phenom out of Japan that would slot right into your rotation immediately. I mean, he'd be at the front of your rotation potentially within a year. He'd be making no money. It's a dream possibility. There are no guarantees in sports. Guys get hurt. There's no guarantee of effectiveness. But the idea of slotting in a guy that's 23 for the next 6 years that's had like a career 2 ERA in Japan for $1 million a year is like almost too good to be true, truthfully.
Yeah. And the window that you have here is in that window of Roki Sasaki being under control. Now, looking way down the line, if the Padres were to sign Roki Sasaki and he has great career and he's really good in his first 5-6 years, it's going to be difficult to re-sign him. But I'm not even thinking that far ahead. You can't. You got to think about how can you win right now. Well, Roki Sasaki, I don't think from day one just steps up and is like Mr. Cy Young. I think he could be very comparable to Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And I think Yoshinobu Yamamoto, a guy making as much as he makes for the Dodgers. I don't know if the Dodgers won the World Series, so who gives a crap? But giving you 100 innings, going 7-5 with a 3 ERA. I mean, I think Dodger fans wanted more than that from Yamamoto, but I think you can look at that as like maybe something that if you got from Sasaki next year, you need innings because Joe's out, and you need guys that can give you that, and his stuff absolutely plays, talking to Kyle Glazer and whatnot. So this is a move that helps you right now and also into the future.
I'm putting myself in his shoes. Okay, I'm in Roki Sasaki's
What size does he wear?
I'm not overly, probably my size.
Okay.
11, 12.
He's tall.
He's skinny. He basically is me, but he's better at pitching. So I'm putting myself
and everything else.
Basically, I'm putting myself in his shoes. And if I had 2 paths to go down, one of which is join a team that just won the World Series, that has the best Japanese player arguably in the history of Japan, in Shohei Ohtani. It has the most marketable Japanese pitcher currently in baseball, maybe, in Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Or the other side is go somewhere where they've never yet won a World Series. I can pitch, at least in the short term, with my idol and mentor in Yu Darvish, and I can be a bit of a thorn in the side of that other team, that other path. I could make an argument for both. I'm not saying it's an obvious, clear choice not to go to the team that just won the World Series that has these Japanese stars. I'm just saying you're not going to be remembered like the other dudes. You're never going to be Shohei Ohtani. If they win the next 5 World Series, guess who gets the credit? Not you.
In Japan, which, obviously with Ohtani and Sasaki and Yamamoto, that will never be your team. Ever. You will never be bigger than Shohei Ohtani. Ever. Even if you win a Cy Young. Never.
Agreed.
Never. Here, you would be the biggest thing in Japan for the Padres, and you would be the face of the Padres in Japan.
Yeah, because Darvish is going to ride off into the sunset within the next year or two.
Yeah, he will. And I think we might be underestimating just how important Yu Darvish could be to this whole thing.
Yeah.
I hope we are, because it just feels like, unlike the Seiya Suzuki thing where he was like, yeah, Chicago's great. Go to Chicago to Seiya Suzuki. Hearing things like Sasaki views Darvish as a godfather figure to him, I think could play a big, part in this whole entire thing, that he can come here and he can learn from Darvish and go under his wing rather than going to the Dodgers and trying to be the equals with Ohtani and Yamamoto.
And make no mistake, what does Yu Darvish think of the Padres organization? No matter what we all think, he believes it is an unbelievable organization. How do I know this? The way he paid respects to Peter Seidler, what AJ Preller's relationship was with him behind the scenes last year when he was dealing with a personal matter related to his family, and the way that Padres treated that situation, we're told, was very much appreciated by Darvish. So, like, think about it from Darvish's shoes. Like, I feel as if Darvish is going to do everything in his power to represent the Padres organization the way they basically treated him. It's like, treat others the way you want to be treated. I mean, think about the way the organization treated Darvish in 2024. I feel as if from the outside, but from what we've read, they bent over backwards to make sure everything was accommodated for him. And if he came back, he came back. If he didn't, he didn't. It was about him, not the team. I just feel like if the relationship between Darvish and Sasaki is what it's reported to be, that could be what gets this thing hopefully in San Diego's favor.
And if you're the Padres and you're preparing your pitch to Ohtani, or not Ohtani, to Sasaki,
Ohtani would be nice too.
Yeah, but that's not happening. You're preparing your pitch to Sasaki. You're coming to the table with AJ Preller, who speaks pretty damn good Japanese.
Yep.
You have Yu Darvish, which is considered a godfather figure to Roki Sasaki. You also have the lure of, like you said, facing off against the Dodgers and having a true rivalry. You're not worried about location because San Diego, sorry, you can't beat it. You can't. LA sucks. San Diego's way better. And Hideo Nomo is also an advisor inside the Padres organization as well. So you're coming to the table with two legendary Japanese pitchers, pitching figures, while also one of them would be your teammate, and a GM who is obsessed with you, and an organization that's ready to win right now, and a stadium that is pitcher friendly, and a location that you can't beat, and you will become the face of the Padres in Japan.
We'll see if that selling point's enough to get Roki Sasaki to San Diego. John Fant of Fox Sports will get us ready for tonight. San Diego State and Fresno State. His thoughts on the Aztecs about a month into the season. One of the great voices on college basketball in America. John Fant joins us next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Progressive. Tonight, 6 p.m. is the Sean Lewis Coaches Show, final one of the season as it's National Signing Day today. 6 p.m., you can listen to Sean Lewis talk about all of the players that he signed today. Then, after that, Aztec basketball, 7:30 tip time in Fresno against Fresno State. You can listen to that right here on San Diego Sports 760. And NFL news of the day, Trevor Lawrence, his season is likely done. He's going on IR after he got his concussion this past week from the hit against Aziz Al-Shahir Sunday afternoon. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at progressive.com. That's progressive.com.
Nobody I'd rather talk to today than John Fanta, and that includes Jim, my co-host. But that's basically it. John Fanta, Fox Sports. All right, a great voice at all things college hoops. Back with us on John and Jim. San Diego Sports 760. John, happy college basketball season. I know it's been here for a month, but it's good to have you back with us. First of all, what are your thoughts here? San Diego State just completely, basically a brand new roster, right? Completely new starting five. They beat Houston the other day in Vegas. They beat Creighton the other day in Vegas. What do you make of the Aztecs a month in? And thanks for joining us in San Diego, man.
Always great to be with you, John and Jim, and always look forward to talking college hoops with you. Jim, sorry that John threw a fastball there.
It's okay. It happens all the time, John.
Oh, okay. You're just used to it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. College hoop season arrived for San Diego State last week because when you go into that Players Era Festival in Vegas and you're in the role that San Diego State's in, where last year the Mountain West was incredible, this year it's been solid. It could be a multi-bid league. It's still early, but it's going to get multiple bids to the NCAA tournament. We'll see how many. I would probably say this is a year where not 6, maybe it's more of like a 3 or 4 situation. But again, it's early. But when you're San Diego State and you lose by 13 to Gonzaga at home, when you're in the position that they're in, you go into Vegas and you really need to make some hay. You've got to be able to do some things. And I believe they beat 2 teams that will hear their name called on Selection Sunday. No question on Houston. A little bit of a question on Creighton, who's struggling right now and who's been banged up, but has Kansas tonight and has an opportunity. But what the Aztecs showed us last week is what I've been saying on this show and what we've all been saying on this show for a number of years. San Diego State is a national program. They are on the level that a Gonzaga is year in and year out in terms of maybe not top 5, top 10, but I'm saying in the top 25, operating as a consistent program that's nationally known and a winning program. And that's because they're incredibly well coached by Brian Dutcher, who has made a couple of really interesting finds. I mean, one, Magoon Guath has become an elite shot blocker. 4 blocks per game right now for this team. Defensively, he's changing the game. So then on the offensive end of the floor, you say, all right, no more Lamont Butler, and we've lost this piece and that piece. What do we do? Well, I thought they did a great job of identifying who they needed, but also developing. That's why San Diego State's a national program. They develop players. B.J. Davis is a different player now than he was a year ago. You go out, you get Nick Boyd, but Miles Bird, John, you've seen it, goes from a guy scoring 4 points per game to a guy scoring 13 per game and 5 rebounds per game and 3 assists per game. Like they doubled down on keeping kids and of getting them better. And that's refreshing in today's college basketball. So they did lose a lot, but the guys that they kept, it's a group that, I really like, and I think they just play their tails off. They're never going to be outworked. And that was on display in Vegas. And they're a really difficult team on a short prep, even though the Houston game came after a couple of days. But that was just an amazing win over Houston. To take that 73-70, take it in overtime too. Remarkable week for the Aztecs. And now tonight they get back into it at Fresno State. No rest for the weary. And this is a program now that has a real chance. I mean, they have 5 games in the month of December. And I don't see any reason why they can't win all 5 of them.
John, what do you make of the NIL tournament that they were just in, and then how that might evolve in college basketball going forward? Is like that might be the type of tournament that you see around the country because NIL is so important.
Well, I was skeptical when this event came about. And I think everybody was, because we didn't know how it would work and what's there to gain financially. I think what you have is a group of people who are at some pretty large corporations. Ever Wonder is a corporation that, let me be honest when I say, like, I think that they're just they funded a lot of this. And for them, it's more of a passion creative project than anything. Of course, you want to make revenue off it, but you guys turned on the game and the floor looked like it was like a NASCAR uniform with the amount of sponsors that were on the floor. But I was thinking the whole time, I'm like, you know what? This could work. This is different. It's got a little bit of a wrinkle to it. It's just kind of refreshing to see. And I think in the NIL era, anybody that's willing to embrace NIL opportunities, no matter what they are, if you've got the money to play with, you're going to be able to succeed. And the people who ran this tournament deserve a lot of credit for putting on a first-class event, because by accounts from all the coaches, Seth Berger, who's at Orifice and headed up this Players Era tournament, he worked with Intersport. And this is deep in the weeds now, but I'm just telling everybody out there, Intersport, they run the Greenbrier tip-off. You saw Pitt play Wisconsin. They run the Fort Myers event. Michigan beat Xavier there last week. Talk to anybody who runs an Intersport event, and they will tell you they know what they're doing. The guy who ran this event, Seth Berger, picked Intersport to help run it. He got the NIL dollars to fund it. He gave the coaches and players first-class treatment. They didn't have to leave the building. Their hotels were attached to the arena. It was really easy to get in and out. It was like the NCAA tournament bubble. It allows your teams to focus, to lock in, to spend time together. This is the future because there's NIL money. Coaches don't want to get on a 12-hour plane to Maui and play in Hawaii. If I am running Maui right now, if I'm running the Maui Invitational, I am on the phone with Seth Berger. I am on the phone with NIL people because I need to preserve my event. The only way you're preserving an event like that takes 12 hours of travel is if you have some money involved. The only way that these event holders pulled a Thanksgiving week-long event off in Vegas that had 2 gap days, it won't next year, but had 2 gap days, the only way you do it is by funding it. 2-game MTEs where it's back-to-back days, like the Fort Myers tip-off. The Charleston Classic has 3, but Battle for Atlantis has 3 games in 3 days. You can pull that off. But when you're going in a location that's a little bit outside the box for East Coast teams, San Diego State, close to Vegas, you got to be able to generate NIL funding. This did. And it's a huge benefit to the Aztecs that Brian Dutcher said, you know what, we need to do this event because now he's in the door. And once you're in the door with this event, you stay in this event.
John Fant of Fox Sports with us. It's funny. You just went down that path. I wasn't going to ask this, but I will. About what Dan Hurley said about Maui, right? We're not going to do the 3-game MTE. We'll play home and homes. We'll play marquee events. What's your reaction? I just think back. I was in Maui 2 years ago. San Diego State lost heartbreakers there. They went 1-2. They end up in the national championship game against UConn. That year, they lost a heartbreaking game there to Arkansas. Lamont Butler had, I think, 2 costly mistakes late in that game. The game was completely stolen from them. And you're thinking, well, maybe they don't want to go back. They went 1-2. Well, they learn from it, and they make it all the way to the national championship game. What was your reaction to what Dan Hurley said?
Well, I think Dan Hurley was speaking on that, knowing that he has a benefit, guys, that not many others do to the same degree.
Yeah.
Dan Hurley has TV networks calling him trying to make games happen. I could tell you on this show, there are strong efforts. I haven't even reported this to Jon and Jim. You guys are getting it first here. There have been a lot of efforts between Connecticut and Duke and UConn and Syracuse to make a couple of games happen between, UConn, Syracuse, UConn, Duke, a series. The television partners, meaning Fox, NBC, and now Turner for the Big East, they all want these big games. UConn has the luxury of, they can reach out to a network and say, can we make a game happen at the Garden on Saturday, December 14th?
Right.
And the Garden comes back and says, yeah, we'll have you play Gonzaga. And it'll be part of a multi-year series. ESPN will take this game out in Washington, and you'll get Gonzaga back at the Garden. But, you won't have to play Gonzaga at the Kennel. when Hurley's talking there, he's talking like a coach of the back-to-back reigning champions who he doesn't need any more MTE games than he's offered. He's got more offers right now than he has slots available. It's easy for him to say that. That's my take on what he said.
Sure.
He did say it out of malice. He was pissed off that he went 0-3, but he felt that way going into it. At the end of the day, going out to Maui costs your school $350,000 to $400,000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a fair point, John.
A lot of money.
Real quick before you go, San Diego. I don't know if we've had you on to comment on this. San Diego State and Gonzaga in the same league, beginning in 2026. What's the impact?
Phenomenal. Can't wait for it. I think it's a game changer for San Diego State, and I think it's something that Gonzaga had to do. The WCC is just not good enough for them as a league, but for the Aztecs to be meeting Gonzaga in Big 12 games, and for a couple of their Mountain West colleagues to be going with them that I really like, I think that this is a win-win in every way for San Diego State between all their sports. But I think it's huge for basketball because San Diego State Gonzaga can be a real rivalry, and now it's going to be with this move. But when you include some of those others that are coming with them, Colorado State and Boise State and Utah State, like there's some really good programs in there, and I think you're in for a league that's going to be a lot of fun out west in an area that right now the West has no identity. San Diego State and Gonzaga being in the same league gives the western part of the country real identity.
Love the perspective, John.
Love it.
Happy holidays. I know it's early. We'll catch up at some point again, hopefully right after the new year as we get towards March Madness once again. But we appreciate you hopping on in San Diego, man.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John and Jim. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, my friend. All right, John Fanta, Fox Sports, former Seton Hall student, where I was calling women's basketball games. And we were setting equipment up together.
Is there anybody better than John Fanta? My answer is no.
There is not.
There's not.
I've ran through the list of everyone. Yes. I asked ChatGPT, and it says John Fanta.
Sorry, Darnay. John Fanta's above you on the
hopefully
list.
Hopefully Darnay's not listening because he won't come up. All right, we have an update on the Juan Soto sweepstakes on the other side. Plus, we're giving away Aztec tickets for Saturday coming up next. It's Jon and Jim. 2-minute drill on the topic of football. And we will Sean Dillon, who is San Diego State's Director of Player Personnel at this national signing day, and do us for talk more about this class. And how long was it? 5 minutes? So very long.
2.5.
Honestly, if you want to do one next week, that's 4 hours.
It went into overtime.
4-hour drill.
I might.
You may.
Yeah.
The voice of the Fresno State Bulldogs is Paul Loeffler. San Diego State's in Fresno. He'll join us coming up at 3 p.m. All right, we have an update on the Juan Soto sweepstakes. No, the Padres are not in the sweepstakes. We heard yesterday that he was crossing teams off the list, and me and you both envisioned like him just sitting there with a notepad.
He like wakes up one morning and he's like, I'm going to cross them off the list.
Sorry, Miami.
What else should I do today?
Yeah, like he's just sitting there with a notepad and there's like 10 teams. I'm crossing this one off.
That team didn't offer me $600 million. You're gone.
I mean, what does that even mean? I'm crossing teams off the list. You're going to choose the best darn offer. If there's two, okay. You have a choice to make.
You have the offers in front of you. Scott Boras is putting out in the media that if you don't have an offer that's over $600 million, you don't even try. That's basically that's what's happening.
Amazing, I know.
And whoever has the offer that he likes the best, or if he's going just straight for the most money, then the teams that are in on Juan Soto are probably sitting there like, do we offer enough?
He better go straight for the most money. He's been waiting for this moment for 6 years. It's all we've talked about ad nauseum for years.
I just, again, love Juan Soto. Would absolutely want Juan Soto on my team. Never in a million years for over $600 million.
Yeah, 600. And I'm with you on that. I liked Juan Soto as well, but you were paying him like 10, 15 million at the time.
500 to me was like the max, like 500, between 500 and 550. But if he gets a deal close to 650,
better be winning multiple World Series
and multiple MVPs and being like the best player in the sport.
That's absolutely right. All right, let's hear from Jon Heyman. Here is the latest on Soto.
Soto, Yankees. I mean, look, he loved the clubhouse. I do think he liked the roll call. Did he love New York? I think he liked New York. I do think he loved San Diego. So, I'm not giving New York as much of a home field advantage as some people say. Certainly it is on the East Coast. His family lives in Dominican and also in suburban Fort Lauderdale. So maybe the East Coast has a little bit of an edge, but he'd certainly love the clubhouse in New York. They have a very good roster. They have the wherewithal to do it. Big market, obviously, biggest revenue in baseball. And I think the Yankees are very much in this at this point. I mean, going in, I think we all felt that the Mets, with the even deeper pockets of the owner, Steve Cohen, had a big advantage, and maybe ultimately he's going to write that check and say whatever it takes. And I've heard rumors to that effect of whatever it takes for the Mets. We'll see. I mean, I think the bidding is pretty high, as we've seen. It's already been reported that the teams are over 600 million. The bidding is over 600 million, well over, I'm sure. And, I mean, is he going to bid 800 million? I don't, there's got to be a limit at some point. And the Mets certainly did a great job last year to get to the NLCS. Give them a lot of credit. Still in New York, which I think he liked New York, so certainly not going to hurt him that it's New York. Obviously, Steve Cohen made a big impression, from what I understand, at the meeting, as did David Stearns and Carlos Mendoza. A lot of things to like about the Mets, but there are a couple questions, right? I mean, looking at their roster right now, they've lost 3 starters. They signed Frankie Montas, and they obviously believe that he's going to do well. We'll see. But they still have 2 openings for starters. Plus, they don't have Pete Alonso on the team at this point, so who bats behind him? So still some questions about the Mets. I'm not saying it's a slam dunk. And again, I've seen internet reports. He's going to the Red Sox. He's going to the Mets. I don't believe them at this point. Maybe he will go to the Red Sox. Maybe he will go to the Mets. But I do believe that it's not imminent. All 5 teams are still in. He's weighing it. Probably will start narrowing it down. I don't know if the teams are going to be told, but he will start narrowing that.
Wait, how did that end? It wasn't.
He'll start narrowing down the teams.
His voice.
It was one of those X videos where it cut off on the last word, so it would have been even more awkward sounding if I left it.
So is he basically saying Yankees to lose?
Like, because he likes the Yankees. But Jon Heyman, when it comes to reporting on Yankee stuff, big time deals. I don't know about that.
So are we thinking Yankees or Mets? As in, those are the 2 Like, is he going to land with the Yankees or the Mets?
Tell you what, dude. I mean, if Passan tweets out that the Dodgers have agreed to a deal with Juan Soto,
come on, man.
Would it surprise me? No. It wouldn't.
Well, nothing surprises me.
The only team that will surprise me for Juan Soto will be like the Blue Jays. That's it. If he goes to Mets, not surprised. Yankees, not surprised. Dodgers, not surprised.
Sacramento, A's.
They have a good shot, maybe.
Yeah.
If they offer him like the entire franchise.
The Dodger thing, you can't put it outside the realm of possibility.
Nope.
That's the scary part about it. And they would, again, defer everything. I think it's going to be the Yankees. But I'm with you. It's not impossible to envision that it is the LA Dodgers. All right, let's catch up with Paul Loeffler. He's the voice of Fresno State. The Aztecs are in Fresno tonight, starting conference play. Aztecs men's basketball at 7:30. I promised we'd give away Aztec basketball tickets this hour. Caller 3, you're going Saturday night against USD. 877-767-4760. Oh, boy.
Oh boy.
877-767-4760. Caller 3, you're going to San Diego State USD Saturday night, 7 p.m. at Viejas Arena. Paul Loeffler joins us next.
This update's brought to you by Progressive. We'll start with the Aztecs. San Diego State takes on Fresno State tonight, 7:30 tip time in Fresno. You can listen to that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. Before that game, you can listen to the Sean Lewis Coach's Show. He talks about National Signing Day at 6 p.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760. And NFL news of the day, Trevor Lawrence has gone on IR and will likely miss the rest of the season with a concussion that he got after the hit by Aziz Al-Shahir on Sunday afternoon. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com. That's Progressive.com.
Getting you all set for that drive home.
Guess what? When they show MLB on Fox on Saturday afternoon and it's Cardinals Pirates,
FS1, by the way, not Fox.
and FS1, it's not bringing one additional person to the television. Like, who is your audience? Baseball fans or people you want to be baseball fans?
Yeah,
right? Who are you catering to? The people that actually watch your sport or people you want to watch your sport? NFL fans don't care about your sport. NBA fans aren't coming to you because, hey, I really like LeBron, but now that I get to see Bryce Harper in extra time in the ninth inning, I'm no longer a Laker fan. It doesn't work like that.
Let's just start the show. Here's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California is going on. Hour 2, Jon and Jim, we're leading you up to Aztec basketball tonight at 7:30. Pre-game coverage, 7 p.m. Ted Leitner on the call. It's great to connect right now with the voice of the Fresno State Bulldogs because San Diego State, 24th in the nation, starting conference play in Fresno tonight against these Bulldogs. Paul Leffler is the voice of Fresno State. He's with us right now. Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. So, Paul, I know it's a busy time up there. We can potentially touch on football. I didn't ask you about that, but we can touch on football as well. But what's it been like? New head coach at Fresno State, the start they've gotten off to. I know there's been some injuries, new principles and philosophies. What's it been like at Fresno to start the year with men's basketball? And thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for having me. It's been very interesting. It's kind of a strange situation, and it's a coach who's been around the community for a long time, wanted this job for decades, was passed over a couple times, and got it in some really unlikely circumstances. At 67 years old, coming from the high school ranks. I mean, he's been a head coach in college before for a brief time at Pepperdine, won a state championship as a junior college coach, spent many years in the NBA, and is really well known in basketball circles. But it was a gamble of a hire. And I think part of the selling point was that Vance Wahlberg convinced the committee, or at least convinced the school president, that he could generate some dollars for NIL. And he's brought in some players. There's some talent, but a lot of it's unproven talent. And so far it's been, as you referenced, injured talent. Yeah. So that hasn't really helped the cause. But I think they expect it to be a long road and a very solid Mountain West this year. And what better way to start out than to go against the standard bearer of the conference tonight at home? So looking forward to seeing what kind of crowd turns out.
And what's your opinion on San Diego State? Obviously, you have not seen San Diego State play this year live in person, but, they're just, coming off the NIL tournament, beating Houston on Saturday, beating Creighton, hanging tough with Gonzaga. What do you make of this new look Aztec team heading to Fresno tonight?
Well, it is a new look, but then some of the principles are the same, right? I mean, ever since Coach Fisher got it rolling there, and Dutch has done a great job of taking it even to another level, the defense is going to be tremendous. I mean, this team, I think, has firepower from maybe more directions than some of the other teams, and you know better than I do. And one of the intriguing things, I think, tonight is a couple of the Aztecs' best players are from our neck of the woods, right? From here in the San Joaquin Valley when it comes to BJ at point and Miles on the wing. Those guys, in fact, Vance Wahlberg, Fresno State's head coach, coached against both of them in high school. We were talking last night on our show with him about how Davis lit him up in a high school game and beat him. So he knows their game well. It's amazing what a great job the Aztecs have done of reloading year after year after year. And I just love coming to Viejas because it's such a phenomenal environment. And I think Fresno State could take a page from the Aztec fans' book, especially with the student section. The show sets that tone inside the arena down there. And that's one thing I think will be interesting to see this year. Do the students start coming to games here at Fresno State? And does that change the environment? Because let's be honest, it's been kind of a dead and sterile environment for the most part in recent years. And they know they need to get butts in those seats and get some energy in the building. And tonight will be a good barometer for that.
Paul Loeffler is with us. He's the voice of the Bulldogs. Can you explain that further, Paul, the dynamic? Like, it's interesting. Obviously, Fresno State football has had a ton of success, and they've drawn incredibly well, and they've had some championship caliber teams, and they've won a lot of games over the last 15 or 20 years. And Fresno State has had good teams and had great players like Paul George. Explain the dichotomy between football and basketball at Fresno State.
Dichotomy is a perfect word for it. And boy, I remember that game before Bulldogs and Aztecs were back in the league together. Kawhi was here and Paul George was here, and we had a great game in this arena. And Ted called that. And tonight's Ted's last trip to Fresno. I'm going to miss seeing him up here. But really, I think we have to go back about 20 years, a little more than 20 years. You know, Jerry Tarkanian was the coach here, and they were selling out Selland Arena like they'd done under Boyd Grant. And it was a basketball town. And that's what generated the enthusiasm to get the Save Mart Center built. And in a lot of ways, they modeled it after Viejas. We just don't have the old steps of the football stadium outside the arena, you know. But they built it a little too big. It's a great concert venue, but they put 15,000 seats. And, you know, aside from a couple games in the first couple years, they really haven't come close to filling it. And over the years, I think a few factors that had to do with basketball and others that didn't kind of eroded that fan base. And, you know, so we saw it go to 10,000 to 9,000 as far as people showing up. And in recent years, I mean, Fresno State had the run in 2016, beating the Aztecs in the championship game to go to the tournament. Other than that, there hasn't been a whole lot of on-court success to celebrate. Justin Hudson had a team, I thought, you know, a few years ago that could have gone to the dance, that had a few bad breaks with Orlando Robinson. But it's just been a real struggle to re-engage the community the way it was just locked in during the old Selland Arena days. And that's a big challenge, but it's one that, you know, Coach Wahlberg has embraced. He did a great job going around the valley, the surrounding areas. You know, it'd be like if an Aztec coach went out to Vista and Carlsbad and maybe even all the way up to San Clemente and went east out into the desert and did basketball camps in all those communities. That's what Vance did this summer, just to try to engage the community and say, hey, we want you to come to our games. We want you to grow up dreaming about becoming a Bulldog, because that's what was here in the past, and that's what's been lost.
And obviously, you're right. You gotta win in order for a fan base to show up. But, you know, in the future here, Fresno State moving to the Pac-12, do you think that could help a little bit with better opponents in conference play? You know, seeing Gonzaga on a yearly basis, you know, obviously San Diego State now on a yearly basis, Boise State, like Oregon State, like, do you feel like that could help a little bit, or and how do you feel about the whole conference as a whole now?
I do think it'll help, right? Because it'll be a quality opponent almost every night in basketball. And we'll see who else is added to the league. But right now, it's a real quality basketball league. And let's be honest, Fresno State has some catching up to do with those programs in terms of on-court success, fan support, the whole 9 yards. And, you know, I may be wrong, but I'm a big believer that the student section sets the tone for the whole arena. So if I'm Fresno State, that's what I do step one. Maybe you even want to offer an Aztec student or a Utah State student or a New Mexico student, hey, we'll give you some NIL money to come here as a grad student and get the student section going like it is at your place. Because it just changes everything. And maybe moving the location of that. The other issue, John, is there's an aging fan base, right? So a lot of those fans that were season ticket holders at Selland Arena, it's hard for them to get out to every game anymore. And they just aren't as connected as they used to be. So I think there's another element of you have to attract some younger fans. And this is definitely a more exciting offensive team than we've seen the last couple of years. But defensively, they haven't been able to play that kind of lockdown defense that had, you know, Justin Hudson in upset mode against the Aztecs a few times.
Paul Loeffler's with us. It's hard to believe, Paul. I kind of forget about this because we're in San Diego, not Fresno. Kellen DeBoer was the head coach at Fresno as recently as 2021. That's unbelievable. We talked a little bit about Fresno State's football success. It's being reported today. I don't think it's official. That former North Dakota State head coach Matt Entz may become the next Fresno State head coach. What's the last year been like up there with football? There were some highs and lows, obviously, this year with an interim head coach. I don't know if you can comment on the reported news or not, but what's the state of the program, I guess, heading into 2025?
Wow. It's been quite a journey. You know, Jeff Tedford was here, and Aztec fans know I don't have to tell them what a miraculous turn of events there was in 2022 in that game where Fresno State scored 15 points in 13 seconds and stole a game from San Diego State and used that as a springboard to get to the Mountain West Championship. So things were rolling. And last year with Coach Jeff Tedford in the saddle, you know, Fresno State's 8-1. Ends up losing 3 games in a row. Coach Tedford has to step down for health reasons. Tim Skipper, former Bulldog, who was on the staff, jumps in as interim coach, leads the team to a victory in the bowl game. Then in the offseason, Coach Tedford says, hey, I'm back. I got a clean bill of health. I can do this. Goes to Mountain West Media Days and talks up everything. And then just a couple of days later, unfortunately, has to say, you know, my doctor said shut it down. I can't coach this team. And he hands the reins back to Coach Skipper. So Coach Skipper takes over a team with a lot of experience, especially on the defensive side of the ball, a returning quarterback, some talented guys, but it really wasn't his team. He didn't recruit the staff, didn't recruit the players. I think they really performed well for him. They were motivated by him. The defense, I think, was really solid all year, but the offense was extremely inconsistent. And they lost some games they shouldn't have lost, and they'll be the first ones to tell you that. So outside of losing at Michigan when they threw a pick 6 in the final minutes when they had a chance to steal that game and getting blown out at UNLV, their other 4 losses were all games they believe they should have won and that they kind of gave away. And, you know, most recently in the Rose Bowl Saturday, losing 20-13 and blowing another second half lead against UCLA. So there were highs and lows. I think the fan base really wanted Coach Skipper. The players were very vocal about it. They broke into a "We Want Skip" chant in their locker room multiple times. They even did it today. I was at their practice when Coach Skipper informed them of the news and told them to stay focused for a bowl game. And as they're walking off the field to go, you know, hear the news officially from the administration, they're chanting, "We want Skip." So the will of the players seems to have been rejected. And now there are a lot of players in the transfer portal. So I don't think that's the landing strip Coach Entz was hoping for coming to Fresno. And for the community, it feels a little bit like a rejection of the Bulldog family. And I know that's hard for a lot of players and alumni to swallow. So there's going to be a big opportunity for the athletic director, the school president, and the new coach to try to engage those people who were a little miffed and disgruntled by that news.
That's fascinating. Really is.
Wow.
We are looking for, you know, it's an interesting time, as we know in college athletics, and with the portal essentially always open for all players, you have to be cognizant of it. Otherwise, you're talking about potentially very little retention and massive turnover, which is happening obviously at the FBS level. Paul, we're looking forward to it tonight. San Diego State, Fresno State kicking off conference play in early December. We'll see you back here at Viejas later this season. And thanks for hopping on in San Diego, right?
You bet. I won't tell you what the weather is here, but it feels like San Diego. So.
Oh, is it? Okay, it's nice. It's always 70 and sunny in Fresno, right? All year.
Yeah, all year.
We wish. It was foggy.
It's at least 70.
Marine layer.
Yeah, Marine layer. Exactly. Thank you, Paul. All right, Paul
See you guys.
Loeffler, voice of the Fresno State Bulldogs. We have just received another update on Juan Soto from Mark Feinsand at MLB.
Yeah.
So there's new news on Juan Soto.
Dun, 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 dun.
Plus, we need to tell former Major League Baseball player Eric Burns to shut up.
Yes.
Coming up this hour as well. We are here until 6 p.m. Really good show lined up. More Aztec tickets to give away. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. All right, so we have an update on Juan Soto. We both saw something interesting from the Mesa, which was Justin Hudson, longtime assistant here for Steve Fisher, Brian Duckworth, head coach for voice of the Bulldogs. Justin Hudson is back officially. Where's my release? Here it is. The official title is that he's going to be. This is really good, isn't it? Well, he's essentially an assistant coach. He's going to serve as an assistant coach and scouting specialist for San Diego State women's basketball.
Huh.
The head coach is his wife.
Oh, must be nice.
Stacey Terry Hudson reunited with Justin Hudson on the same staff now. Stacey, the head coach of the women's program. Justin, now an assistant coach and scouting specialist for his wife. That's pretty fascinating.
Imagine those conversations at nighttime.
Yeah, like, yeah.
I'm your boss.
True. That is kind of interesting. But isn't that crazy?
Take out the trash or you're fired.
Isn't that crazy? So they were both at San Diego State together. He's coaching on the men's side.
Right.
She's the head coach on the women's side. He leaves for 6 years to be the head coach at Fresno State. He's now back. He was replaced by their new head coach, Vance Wahlberg. He's back in San Diego, and now he's on her staff.
It just, from a family perspective, like you can't get any better than that.
No, especially after 6 years apart.
Yeah. During seasons.
Yeah, during season, like how could you ever, maybe a day you could get together, but not much beyond that because you're coaching.
Did you wash the dishes, honey? Oh, okay.
Not much in the huddle film.
Well, yeah, now you have to go run drills tomorrow at practice instead.
No, you can do dishes tonight, honey. I have to go get you a power forward. We'll
that
trade.
Is an interesting, it's an interesting dichotomy. I agree with that.
Because clearly we know who wears the pants in that relationship now.
Oh, look at you.
I mean, Stacey Terry Hudson is her wife, her husband's boss.
Her husband's boss. Yes. Yes. I mean, they've been married for a while.
Do you think what if he tries to I don't know. I don't know. That's interesting.
What if you try? I mean, yeah, I think it'll be good.
No,
They're married.
I'm
It'd be like if you worked with Aaron. It was John and not John and Aaron. That'd be weird. The Jim and Aaron show.
And she was the boss. Well,
or if it was Aaron and Jim.
Yeah, she is the boss too. So
exactly.
Yeah.
All right, what's the latest here on Juan Soto from Mark Feinstein, MLB.com?
Thought you had it in front of you.
I don't, because I haven't even seen the tweet. I don't follow him.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Oh, I thought you had the tweet.
No, I said you read the tweet.
Well, I lost the tweet.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding.
Mark Feinstein. His last tweet. Yankees could swing big for Willie Adames if they miss out on Soto. Was that the big news?
That was not the big news, John.
So what's the big news?
Hold on.
Is this a joke?
I didn't have it in front of me, dude. Sorry.
You're the one who told it to me.
I know.
I don't even know what it was, though.
Here we go.
Okay.
The Dodgers are, quote, unlikely to sign Juan Soto. He says the Yankees, Mets, Blue Jays, and the Red Sox have established themselves as the favorites. Dodgers would be wise to use the $600+ million on Teoscar Hernandez and a starting pitcher. According to Mark Feinstein.
So they're unlikely to land Juan Soto, which is what most people would have told you heading into the offseason, that Juan Soto's not going to LA, but it is the LA Dodgers. So is that a bit of good news?
He says the four teams that are clearly the finalists for Juan Soto are the Yankees, the Mets, the Blue Jays, and the Red Sox.
Okay. It is interesting because if you are LA, there probably is a better usage of $600 million if you're going to use it.
Well, then you could, if you're the Dodgers, and I hate playing Dodgers GM, but using that money on re-signing Teoscar Hernandez and signing Willie Adames and then signing another starting pitcher or a bullpen piece. It's much better use of resources than $600+ million to Juan Soto.
It would be the biggest. Remember, we're in a group chat with Darnay, and everyone remembers Chris Paul to the Lakers, but it wasn't. There is something to it, I think, from a baseball fan perspective, well beyond San Diego, that if the Dodgers did land Juan Soto, people would definitely be thinking, when is enough enough? Now, again, I don't think baseball would do anything about it. They can't.
They don't do anything.
So it's not. That Lakers situation was unprecedented, essentially, with Chris Paul. But you look at their roster and you add Juan Soto to it, or you add Roki Sasaki to it. And I do feel like the rest of baseball is kind of like, what about us? I don't know is that fair or unfair? If the Padres had that same roster, I'd be like, bring it on. Bring me Soto. Bring me Sasaki.
Get all the Infinity Stones.
Get all the Infinity Stones.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Padres have at times over the last 5 years had a lot of stars on one team.
Yes, 2022. That was the year. It's like, okay, they got Soto, they got Bogarts, they got Manny, they got Snell, they got Musgrove, they got Darvish. They got Tatis.
Yep.
Ready to go.
That's a very star-powered baseball team.
Yeah. 2023, not 2022.
Yeah.
But from my point the other day is that Juan Soto going to the Dodgers, it doesn't make their ceiling any higher than it already is, which is World Series or but. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if Juan Soto went to the Mets, that's a problem for the Padres. If he goes to the Phillies, that's a problem for the Padres. Go to the Yankees. Go to the Blue Jays. Go to the Red Sox.
Go to the American League.
Don't get anywhere near the National League, in particular, a team that the Padres will be competing with year in and year out for the next 3-4 years for a wild card spot.
Yeah. But I see no matter what the Dodgers do, you can ticket them at 99 win or more.
And this could be a situation like in baseball, anything can happen. 89 wins and 110 wins.
Yeah, definitely the postseason.
But it does kind of feel a little bit like those years when the Warriors got KD. It's like, like it would be kind of a surprise, very big surprise.
I never think that with baseball. You're going to be valid. You might look back 5 years from now, like, 4 or 5. That you were right. But with baseball, I always go back to what was it that we were saying about baseball?
I know this. Yeah. It's like my tongue, dude. I have it. Right.
Because 60% of the series. So you could have a dominant team, and you're far from a shoo-in to win a post. That's why I don't think it's a formality. They're going to win 9 games.
Yeah, because the 89-win team beat a 100-plus win team in 2022. Padres over the Dodgers.
Yeah, exactly.
Same thing last year with the D-backs over the Dodgers. So it can happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
But those two Dodgers teams, like 2023, that Dodger team had no pitching. Their best pitcher was like Lance Lynn.
I mean, 2024's had against the postseason, they overcame.
And now they have shored up those flaws and the margin for errors with Blake freaking Snell and maybe a healthy Tyler Glass now if he can stay healthy. Both those pitchers, along with Yamamoto, along with Tony Gonsolin, along with Trevor May.
Still got to play. I mean,
I know.
We looked up last year, and the teams were very competitive with each other. And there was a moment in time where the Padres led a best-of-5 series 2-1. Again, that's crying over spilled milk. It didn't happen. They didn't win the series, but it still has to play out. All right, we're going to hear from Eric Burns on the other side and tell him to shut up. Also, still to come, we're going to be joined by San Diego State's recruiting coordinator on this National Signing Day. Sean Dillon will join us coming up at 4:30, and we have more Aztec basketball tickets to give away for Saturday night against USD. This is John and Jim.
Dustin May, not Trevor May. I always get that wrong. I don't know why I say Trevor May. Why do I say Trevor May? Dustin May. Idiot.
You're an idiot.
All right, this update is brought to you by Progressive. San Diego State takes on Fresno State tonight, 7:30 tip time. You can listen to that right here on San Diego Sports 760. Pregame starts at 7 because before that, starting at 6 p.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760 is the Sean Lewis Coaches Show talking about National Signing Day today. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at progressive.com. That's progressive.com.
All right, back with you here on Jon and Jim. Here until 6 p.m. We will have San Diego State football recruiting coordinator Sean Dillon on the show for signing day. Right, listen to this lineup on TV tonight for basketball fans because we have San Diego State, Fresno State at 7:30, right here.
Yeah.
This game is also on TV on FS1. The FS1 TV lineup tonight
It's pretty good.
is number 15 Baylor at two-time defending national champion UConn, followed by number 1 Kansas at Creighton, followed by number 24 San Diego State at Fresno State. Those are 3 straight games.
Go Creighton.
Go Creighton against Kansas is right. And I think a lot of Aztec fans probably rooting for whoever plays UConn.
All the time.
In general.
Yes.
In general. All right. So Eric Burns, MLB Network, former player, a lot of golden at bat talk here on Jon and Jim and elsewhere among baseball fans over the last 48 hours.
He's a big Savannah Banana
guy
participator.
Okay. So, right. He's played for the Bananas because they have like guest players in different cities. So let's hear from Eric Burns. Was this on KMBR in the Bay?
Up in the Bay Area, yeah.
All right. So this is Eric Burns on the radio. His thoughts on the golden at bat rule that we've talked about the last couple of days.
I think one of the things that I learned when I was with the Savannah Bananas and quote unquote the director of chaos is that each and every single night we'd go out there, we would try 5 new things. And some of them were amazing and they worked so well. And then we kept them in there for the next night or the next show. And then there were others where I could say we failed gloriously. It was just a complete and total cluster, right? Now, look, the baseball purist, Truco, Will tonight, I get it. I understand. I know why you guys love the game the way it was. The bottom line is that the game's changing. And how can we make the game great right now? And sure, there's going to be a lot of people that absolutely hate the rule or the concept, the idea. But I think until you see it, in which I've had a chance to see a lot of this stuff just with the whole Savannah Banana experience, there's so much more that you could actually do with the game of baseball to make it more entertaining. If you see what the Savannah Bananas are doing and selling out stadiums, and I think they're playing 100+ states this year. They're playing big league stadiums, right? They're selling out. They sold out Minute Maid Park in 6 minutes. People love the game. It's a beautiful game, and ultimately, though, I think we all have to come to grips with the fact that no one wanted to sit through 3.5 hours of a 2-1 game. Crew wants to call it stupid. I really sure that's okay, but these conversations need to be had. We have to talk about what's next in this game and how we continue to attract the attention spans now, right? Which shorter than a goldfish. I mean, it's sad, but we have to cater to that world a little bit. And I think more than anything, it's just constant entertainment. And going back to the golden batter rule, if you look at every other sport, football, game on the line, one play for it all. You got the quarterback and you got your receiver. You got Joe Montana to Jerry Rice, right? You got basketball. Last minute, you're putting the ball in MJ's hands. You're putting the ball in Steph's hands. In the greatest moment of all of these sports, we get to put the ball in our best players' hands. Yet in baseball, we can't do that. Does that make sense? That's, I think, probably the biggest argument for the golden batter rule is we need to highlight our superstars, and the best way to do that is by putting them in a position to succeed and putting in that high leverage situation where, this gladiator sort of moment where they're going to succeed or they're going to fail.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Honestly, like I thought the idea was dumb, and then when I hear him run around in circles trying to explain, yeah, basketball is a different sport, so you could just pass the ball to him.
Right. Yeah.
Football also is a different sport, so you can like throw the ball to whoever you'd like.
Mhm.
Baseball, there's something called a lineup.
Yeah.
So for football, in the history of football, they've had rules, right?
Right. Yeah.
Same thing with basketball.
Right. Yeah.
They don't let you play 6-on-5 for the final possession.
The quarterback's always had the ball.
And by the way, if they need to be more entertaining, then do more dizzy bat races between half innings. You don't need to change the actual integrity of the sport to create more entertainment.
The whole explanation that he had there, like he might have been going down a path where you're like, okay, maybe, and then he just completely loses you,
man.
When he's talking about you want to see the best players in the best moments. The sport of baseball has been around like 150 plus years.
Yeah.
It's not the game needs to change. It's how the game is marketed changed. The thing with baseball is kids growing up. What do they want to be? Most kids in America look and they want to be a football player. They want to be a basketball player.
Do they in the future will they want to be a golden batter?
No.
Okay.
Because baseball doesn't do a good enough job marketing itself to the youth of America to have be like baseball is fun, it's cool, it's awesome. The golden at bat rule won't change any of that. If anything, it makes your sport a gimmicky sport, which is the Savannah Bananas. Savannah Bananas, we were talking about this before the show. It's like a Broadway musical. They go around the country. They have one night shows.
Right. Traveling act.
They travel. It's an act.
It's the Harlem Globetrotters.
It's the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah.
It's not the sport. So don't compare the Savannah Bananas to baseball.
Just
it's
because
not
the
the same.
Globetrotters are shooting shots from 75 feet doesn't mean we need to see it in a Suns
It's
Celtics
It's
game
not the
tonight.
same. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
His whole like answer just reminded me of that part in Billy Madison when the guy's like, at no point in your answer did you string together anything resembling a coherent thought. We are all dumber for having to listen to it.
It's actually an amazing soundbite because he's like, just like, where are you going with this? And he actually like somehow like salvaged something, even though it was bizarre.
It's like, don't you think it'd be cool to see like
the best players in high leverage
Manny
situations
have like a big time at bat in the ninth inning every
he's
single
due up.
night?
Yeah, if he's due up, that'd be great.
Yeah, exactly.
And if he's
That's
not due up, then
baseball.
sorry.
It's baseball.
That was my other point along what John was saying. It's the Harlem Globetrotters. You know, I love the Harlem Globetrotters, but I don't want to see, Devin Booker throwing buckets of confetti into the crowd, in timeouts and stuff like that. We don't need that.
And that's what Savannah Bananas is. And
It's
that's
great
what he's
for what it is.
So like when he's mentioning like, yeah, we had like 5 different ideas for the Savannah Bananas every single game. Bro, that's not a sport. Like you're playing baseball,
right?
But you're not playing baseball.
Okay, so we're gonna put Walker Bueller on stilts.
Yeah,
and we did it the Savannah Bananas.
I mean, the fact that we're even entertaining this idea, the golden at bat is not coming to baseball. I've made the decision. It's that ludicrous that I can confidently say, listen, you can get 30 people in suits in a room that own clubs. Like, yeah, I think it's a good idea. You bring that to the players union. What are we going to do with closer stats? It started with a -1 ERA because every night they're now facing Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah. I saw a tweet. It's so fun.
Like,
it was like, hey, baseball, can we end the blackout restriction?
Yeah,
hey, how
let's
about the
deal with
pitch
the
clock?
real things.
Wait, no, we asked for the, hey, how about the ghost runner at second base?
How about
What?
like balls and strikes being accurately called?
Yeah. Make the game better. Don't try to change the game.
Yeah, it doesn't need that.
And I just think that, like I said, if you're a kid growing up and you're very athletic and you're sitting down and you're thinking like, what sport do I want to play as a kid? If you're choosing football or basketball, if you're in the States, majority of the kids
and
are.
honestly, I would actually give like credit to like soccer as a participation sport. I think there's a lot of participation in soccer.
Yeah.
I do think there's a ton of that. There's other sports on the rise. Listen, do young children play Little League and T-ball? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But do they also play flag football and basketball and soccer? Yeah. Is there less T-ball participation and Little League baseball participation over the last 50 years? I would guess yes, because of the rise of some of these other sports.
Like I played baseball growing up. I'm sure
Yeah,
you
of
did.
course.
I'm sure
Brent,
everybody did.
I
Like,
think basic, but I don't know if everyone's still doing it like they did 35 years ago.
I'm just saying that if you're a kid, like I would say majority are going to be drawn to playing
Yes,
football
I agree.
or basketball over baseball. Not saying that no kid wants to play
No, of
baseball.
course, a lot of people do, but
a lot of kids do.
Yep.
But the majority is not sitting down. And probably some of the best athletes in the world, in America, are saying, I am going to go play football or basketball, not baseball. That's why you see a lot of Latin players in baseball now, and you see it's just the game is completely changed. You don't see what the sport was, 30, 40 years ago. It's just different.
It is different. And you're right. There's less participation, there's less interest. It'll be
Anyway, the Golden Bat Rule sucks.
But here's the thing. My last point on that. The Miami Marlins, you watch games there. I mean, Shohei Ohtani's going for 50-50 and having 12 RBIs in the game, and there's 12,000 people there. You're not changing the fundamentals by having the Golden Bat because the A's still exist and the Marlins still exist and the Rays still exist and blackout restrictions still apply and umpires still are umpires,
It's going to make it even more dumber.
More dumber. Just dumber.
It's going to make it more dumb.
Because dumber
it's going to make it dumber.
Implying more.
Yes. It's going to make it dumber.
Powerfuler.
And powerfuler.
I need that bite.
If they decide to implement this rule and say that the golden at bat player, whatever that player does, strike out, home run, single, whatever, that doesn't count. And it doesn't count for the pitcher either. That's going to make it even.
How do you even do that? How do you even do that? All right. I think a very short-sighted comment following the reveal of the college football playoffs from a league commissioner. And I will explain
more dumber
on the other side. We'll get to the wrap. Still ahead, Sean Dillon is San Diego State football's director of player personnel. It's National Signing Day. He'll join us at 4:30. We're here until 6. That's when the Sean Lewis Show will start. Aztec basketball tonight at 7:30. Pregame coverage at 7. It's Sean and Jim. right, we'll hear from Jeff Passan on Juan Soto coming up momentarily. New news there again. Is this might be on winter meetings where things actually occur
Compared to last year?
compared to years when nothing happens.
Well, San Diego 2 years ago,
Bogarts,
Judge, Turner,
yeah,
Verlander, DeGrom, I think Scherzer. It was a big boy. It was a big boy winter meetings, and we were like,
remember that.
Yes, thank you.
Yes,
and they had that secret meeting with Judge. I remember hearing people up at like the balcony or something like that. All of a sudden, someone walks by and says, Judge is meeting with the Padres right now. And everyone's like, what? Excuse me?
And didn't they? I mean, as the story goes, they offered him more than the Yankees. As the story goes,
400. Right?
As the story goes, they offered Trey Turner more than the Phillies.
They offered Trey Turner $350, and he took $300 from the Phillies.
As the story goes, they offered Xander Bogaerts $280 million.
And unfortunately, Xander Bogaerts took that
which
contract.
was more than double what the Red Sox offered. I believe that's accurate.
That dude does not have an all-star season next year. That contract. I've always said Eric Hosmer is the worst contract in franchise history. Move over. Xander Bogaerts,
a lot of moving.
Way worse of a contract.
But think about that. You could have had Turner or Judge, and you got Bogaerts. Right? Like you tried, like to their credit, that he was not their first choice with the big move. Like that was not the first choice for the splash.
And it didn't make I mean, at the time, you're like,
I mean, we were excited.
Well, Tatis is
like
their shortstop, and then they moved Tatis to right, and then had Xander as short, and then now they moved Xander to second after 1 year. You're like, what?
Right.
I'll never get that. I'll never get that.
The movement or signing Bogaerts?
Both. Now.
Yeah.
And we were excited about it. Because it was like
very excited.
It was like,
Xander Bogaerts, two-time champ.
Yeah, he hit 300 the year before that. He was an all-star.
He was like 29 years old.
He had 800 OPS.
Yeah, we all looked at the deal. We're like, who cares about years 9 through 11? He's going to be good in years 1 through 5. Well, he hasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been hurt. He's underperformed.
Underperformed is.
No, I think it's fair.
Likely.
I don't think it's like he hasn't hit 190, but he's underperformed. I mean, he's clearly underperformed the contract, and even without the contract, he's underperformed.
He's damn near a $300 million player that plays like he should get like $50 million a year.
$50 million a year?
Or no, $50 million total for his contract.
Like,
sorry.
Geez, you want to pay him? You'd be the worst GM ever. We want to pay you more, Xander.
I want to give you this.
All right, let's hear. We have the Jeff Passan. Let's hear from Jeff Passan. Sounds like he's maybe in like a.
You can understand
on the subway. All right, Jeff Passan on ESPN on the Juan Soto sweepstakes and when this is coming to an end. Listen to this.
But at this point, we don't know who the favorites are. The New York Mets have been near the top the whole time. The Yankees, of course, the incumbent team, the Boston Red Sox, the Toronto Blue Jays, and the Los Angeles Dodgers all still in it. The expectation is that there will be meetings over the weekend, and it's that point Juan Soto will decide where he's going to go, and we will know at latest by the time the winter meetings at Dallas start.
At latest.
Starts Monday or
and
Sunday.
The Dodgers are still in it, I guess. So
I know.
Fine Sam, you're
Forget
wrong.
Fine Sam.
Idiot.
Hey, will you come on the show tomorrow? Mark?
Have we ever had Mark on the show?
No, that's why you can call him that.
It was a tongue-in-cheek type of thing.
Just kidding, Mark.
Tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
At latest by the winter meetings. Dodgers are still in it. $600 million
so
offer.
That means we're getting a Soto announcement this weekend. That's what he just said. That's what he just said.
Yeah.
He said Juan Soto. Did you see the dumb campaign on X? Juan Soto makes his decision. It was like with Starbucks coffee or something.
He did that with
who was it with?
Celsius.
Oh, it was a good campaign.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's well done. Because I clicked, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And it was I choose this, Celsius drink. So Juan Soto is gonna make his decision. I mean, it's Jeff Passan. He's not missing on this, Jim. It's not gonna be February. Jeff Passan's got more contacts than anyone else. So he's not gonna miss on this. He's gonna make his decision today's Wednesday. He's gonna make his decision in the next 72 hours.
Well, if reports are like he's, crossing teams off the list, how long does that take? Like
5 minutes.
Like
max.
we said, he wakes up one morning. I'm going to choose to cross off one more team on the list. Who is that today?
See, we just talked about the Padres at the 2023 winter meetings. No, 2022, and they offered more money than players ultimately took. Kind of wish Soto was that free agent cycle. Like imagine Seidler's around, he's throwing out cash, and he's like, you know what, Juan, we'll give you 500 or whatever. 2 years ago, the Padres were the team throwing around more money than anyone. And Soto's decision clearly right now is predicated on money. You wish that this was, I say I wish that, but then again, maybe they give him $600 million and it doesn't work out. And you're stuck in a situation like the thing with, he's not Bogarts. He's always going to be on base.
Yeah, he's better than Bogarts.
But he's
by
also
a lot.
not worth, but also, I mean, you and I both think 650, 700, you're getting into like wonky. How do you sustain your team by doing that?
And he's going to put up numbers like for the first 4 or 5 years. It's going to be probably really good.
Of course. Yeah.
But is he going to get you to a World Series again? If he doesn't go to the Yankees. Now, if he goes to the Dodgers, he won't need that burden of leading the team to the World Series because he's got Ohtani, and he's got Freeman and Betts and Snell and.
But again, is that a
Glasnow
KD?
and
Is that a
Yamamoto.
KD situation? Now, again, he's already won though with the Nationals.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is a like Super Friends Unite.
Right.
And
you guys are winning here?
Yeah. Let me join.
And you
that.
have the most money?
I know.
You really signing in California? I mean, $600 million and giving up all of it in tax. I mean, who cares? I guess it's so much money.
Well, then that would show me that he wants to win more than anything
because he's going to be taxed.
He goes to the Blue Jays. He's going there because strictly of money. Red Sox, strictly money. Yankees, you could argue, yeah, he's going there for
win,
money and winning.
Right.
Does deferred money get taxed?
That's a really good question. And what state is it taxed in is a really good
and how much
question.
money they give him up front. Like signing bonus, how much money is there? Because wherever he
Juan
lives.
Soto Mr. Deferral when he's the guy holding out for the most cash?
I don't know. I can't wait to find out what the deal is.
It's going to be fascinating.
How much deferred is there if he goes to the Dodgers? And years. Make a prediction right now. Give me years and a number.
Oh, that's fun. How old is he? Is he 26 yet? Let's see. I think he might be 26 or about to turn 26. He's 26. Just turned 26. I'll say 13 for 605.
Okay.
Which is how much? How much is that AAV? 605 divided by 13. Because I think anything over 600 is like fake. That's 46.5 a year. I'll say 605 for 13 years. That's 46.5 a year. That's a lot. And basically unprecedented.
I'll go 14 years, 630. A nice even 45 million a year.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
And he'll take him to his age 40 season, but he won't play there.
What's the most AAV for just a position player in the history of the sport? Trout?
AAV?
Yes.
I think that's got probably Ohtani.
No. Just position player in the history of the sport. Because Ohtani's not just a position player.
Okay.
That doesn't count. Trout 12 for 426. I don't know. Is 37.1. So we're both going to 45. And the highest paid position player ever, unless I'm missing something, and I could be, is 37.1. Going beyond 45, you're getting into like loony world. I think. I think anything more than what we just threw out is crazy. And I even think what we threw out is crazy. 605, 630. But he's probably going to get it.
Probably.
Yeah.
And that's ridiculous.
All right, we'll get to the wrap on the other side. To kick off hour number 3 of Jon and Jim, and Sean Dillon, San Diego State football director of player personnel on this national signing day, will join us coming up at 4:30. We have Aztec basketball tickets to give away in the 4 o'clock hour. It's Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Progressive. San Diego State takes on Fresno State tonight at 7:30 p.m. You can listen to that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. Before that, it'll be the Sean Lewis Coaches Show at 6 p.m. talking about National Signing Day. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at progressive.com. That's progressive.com.
Getting you all set for that drive home.
Guess what? When they show MLB on Fox on Saturday afternoon and it's Cardinals Pirates,
FS1, by the way, not Fox.
and FS1, it's not bringing one additional person to the television. Like, who is your audience? Baseball fans or people you want to be baseball fans?
Yeah,
right? Who are you catering to? The people that actually watch your sport or people you want to watch your sport? NFL fans don't care about your sport. NBA fans aren't coming to you because, hey, I really like LeBron, but now that I get to see Bryce Harper an extra time in the ninth inning, I'm no longer a Laker fan. It doesn't work like that.
Let's just start the show. Here's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour 3, Jon and Jim this hour. Your chance to win San Diego State basketball tickets Saturday night against the University of San Diego at Viejas Arena. And Sean Dillon, San Diego State football director of player personnel, on this National Signing Day. He will join us coming up at 4:30. As you've heard in that open, we talked about the Golden at Bat yesterday and again today. First of all, it's the most evergreen thing ever. I could rip it every day until opening day. Maybe segment. That's our new bit. You know, we have
segment, yeah.
Like we have Trainwreck Radio, we have Jim's back page, and we have
rip the Golden
Let's just kill the Golden at Bat every single day.
I like it.
But when it's like I can't get over it. For whatever reason, I can't get over it.
It's not like it's gonna be like less dumb tomorrow. So
that's the thing. I can't wrap my mind around the commissioner of baseball being like, there's a lot of buzz around it. Actually, you're the commissioner of the sport and you're actually entertaining this.
I'm like envisioning a moment at Petco Park in the
people would be going crazy.
Top of the ninth inning.
Oh,
and
of the ninth.
It's like runner at third,
2 outs,
no outs.
Ooh,
and it's like Ohtani's up already without the Golden Bat.
He walks.
No, he doesn't walk. He strikes out. And then Ohtani's up again.
Dave Roberts, they put him back up.
He's back up.
I wonder if that would.
What?
Like, how do you do your
think about
scorecard? Like I
what?
did scorecards for 15 years in the minor leagues. What do I put in my scorecard? I just put an arrow. Oh, Ohtani was batting first. Now he's batting seventh. Just move him? Can't do it. I can't do it. I can't.
I wonder if it would cause tension between, like, what if a team has multiple stars on, like,
well,
what if Freddie Freeman thinks he should be the one hitting with the game on the line?
Muncy
Not
was asked about that.
Like,
hey, move over, bud.
This reminds me of like in basketball when the team gets a technical foul and you have to choose who's on the court, who's the free throw shooter is.
Yeah, but that's such a
free throw shooter.
That's not for entertainment value.
No, it's not.
Nobody's like, oh man, I can't believe the Warriors.
Oh, that would make free throws so much more entertaining though.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't deal with it. All right. So this hour, Sean Dillon on National Signing Day to talk about San Diego State's clash. Trainwreck Radio for San Diego State basketball tickets. If you missed our conversation with John Fanta, we have it for you in the 5 o'clock hour. But right now, let's get to this.
It's time for The Wrap, presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
It's tonight a must-win game for the Aztecs at Fresno State.
What's I always ask this to you. What's Fresno State's net ranking?
I'm so glad you asked that. There's like nothing you could have asked.
You're
me
like,
to make me
what?
Smile. I mean, listen, first-year head coach, and they haven't been good. What's your guess?
In the 150s?
247.
Oh, must-win game easily.
Yeah, just because the metrics are so important in this sport, and that's where San Diego State, by and large, under Brian Dutcher, they've avoided the hurdles in this type of spot, but that doesn't mean it's not tricky enough. They're 12.5-point favorites right now.
Anytime you ask this question, I always ask, what's the net of that team? Right. And if the net of that team's in the 150s, 200s, absolutely must win. It's like in the 60s, 70s, 80s. You're like,
That's the problem. John Fanta made a good point. If you missed it, you'll hear it at 5:30.
He always makes good points.
He does. He said, listen, you're not getting 6 teams to the tournament like last year, and that's fine. And the league is good, and it's true. There's 4 or 5 teams that are capable of getting to the tournament. They won't all, though. The problem is, Jim, there's 6 teams that have bad metrics. So you got 5 teams with good metrics and maybe a 5th in the middle or 6th in the middle. You have 5 teams with low metrics. You're going to have to sweep those series against teams in the 200s. You're going to have to sweep those series, and that starts tonight for the Aztecs against Fresno State. Next question.
Who's your favorite to win the NBA Cup?
That is such a good question.
I'll go with the Thunder.
How come? Because now they've had so much Cup success when you go back to last year.
They have the best record in the West.
Yeah, but that doesn't have anything to do with the Cup. You throw out the records.
I could care less.
Right.
They have the second best odds.
Second best odds?
Yeah, I know.
Here are the matchups. Thunder, Mavs, Rockets against your Dubs, Bucks, Magic. Are the Magic expected to be in the quarterfinal? Is this like a dream season playing out for the Magic in the
have
Cup?
Played some really good basketball of late.
Is that a true statement?
I think so.
And then Knicks, Hawks. So out of those 8 teams, my favorite, you took OKC. I will take the Milwaukee Bucks. I will take the Milwaukee Bucks to win the second ever NBA Cup. Who's the favorite, Brian?
According to BetMGM, the Knicks are the favorite. They're at plus 380.
Okay.
Then the Thunder at plus 400. Milwaukee's at plus 5. Dallas and the Warriors are at plus 6.
Mm-hmm.
Houston's plus 7. Orlando's plus 1,000. And Atlanta, if you want to go for a long shot, they're plus 1,800.
So Atlanta's 18-1. Wow. All right, we'll be watching. Does that start tonight? When does that start? Ever?
I don't know.
Tuesday, December 10th.
That's next week.
Circle that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, circle that. All right, next question.
What would be the best college football national championship matchup?
I love that question.
SMU Boise.
I love that answer.
You would love that.
Yeah.
ESPN executives would all be on the ledge.
Like,
Yeah, no.
Indiana,
Right.
Boise State, Indiana, Arizona State.
It's so true, dude.
Oh man,
It's like you wanted a 4-hour Jon and Jim.
Tennessee, Indiana.
Indiana's a problem. Tennessee is not.
No,
But Indiana could be a problem.
Indiana, Boise State would be
Boise's got. I mean, the
epic
worst.
troll job.
Who are the 12 that if it was over right now are in?
Oregon, Texas, SMU, Boise, Penn State, Arizona State, Notre Dame, Alabama, Ohio State, Tennessee, Georgia, Indiana.
I think it's Indiana, Arizona State.
That's-
I actually think Boise has a following.
No, but the question is the best matchup.
Oh, I'm talking about the worst.
Okay.
But what do you think is what's the worst for? Is there something worse than Indiana, Arizona State? Indiana, SMU, I think is awful.
But they're in the same, I think.
Well, whatever. No, but that
bracket
could still
side.
change.
No, because they don't reseed.
It's going to be reseeded. What if Clemson wins?
They're going to reseed it.
It'll be reseeded.
No, it's
if
not.
Penn State loses to Oregon 30-0, they'll be bounced down. They're
you
saying
sure about
nobody's
that?
coming up. A team not playing. Miami's not going to pass anyone.
No,
But teams can tumble down. Yes.
That's how it works.
Yeah. Well, it's the first ever version of it, so we don't fully know. But the commissioners, or excuse me, the
I thought this was a
chairperson said-
bracket style where it's like,
right
No, it
here.
is, but I'm saying the bracket's not set. That's not the bracket.
No,
we still have conference title game.
but if this was,
You asked what's the best matchup. What's the
No,
worst? I'm saying the bracket still could be juggled around.
but what I'm telling you is you can't in the title game get Notre Dame versus SMU.
But I'm telling you, yes, you can.
I'm looking at it right now. It says no, the college football playoff does not reseed.
It's not reseeded, but I'm telling you what you're seeing right now with SMU is what seed, Jim?
The 3.
If they lose this weekend, they're no longer the 3.
I am basing this conversation off
right
of
now. That's
right
fine.
now.
Okay,
That
so
this
what's
is
the
the
best
final.
matchup? I can't deal with this question.
Oh
anymore.
my gosh, that was my whole premise. Is if this were to be the actual college football playoff,
Then what's the best matchup?
what's the best matchup?
So what are you going to say?
I'll say, easy chalk,
Oregon,
Texas.
Let me see the bracket that you have on your phone. Oh, man, that's actually. I would say the best matchup based on this bracket would be. Yeah, I don't love this side. A Texas, Oregon. After all of that.
You know what I'd actually like to see is I would like to
Boise.
see. No, Boise would be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be neat.
I would like to see. It's gonna be stupid. I don't want this,
Right.
but it'd be funny if Alabama got to the national title
it's the
game
12 seed.
against Ohio State,
Right, which we've seen 1,000 times.
and then Alabama beats Ohio State, in the national title
Or
game.
what about Alabama Clemson? Clemson wins the
Oh
ACC
my
title, and then we get a
gosh.
game we've seen 4 times.
Well, if because they would be the 12, right?
Yeah. So
They
could
get
they not
in?
be on the same side?
Yeah,
They'd be the
I don't
12.
think they could be on the
Yeah.
same side.
Next question.
Who's the MVP of the NFL this season?
It's Josh Allen. He's beaten the Chiefs. He has put up some insanely good numbers. I know they're not the 1 seed in the AFC, but I think there's a chance that they can be the 1 seed because I just don't envision it. I don't envision the Chiefs just ripping off and being 16-1 or 15-1 or whatever the number is. I think the Bills will eventually become the number 1 seed in the AFC conference, and because of that, and when that will happen, Josh Allen is going to be the clear-cut, easy MVP.
You're right, but based on sheer impressive accomplishments, I do want to give again a shout out to Saquon Barkley. He won't win it, but if he does rush for, let's say, the second most yards in the history of the NFL in a season, or first, which is both possible, that's going to be more impressive statistically, more gaudy than anything Josh Allen's going to do, other than the fact that he's the quarterback for a very good team. Allen's numbers are great. 20 touchdowns, 5 picks, great year. His numbers are going to stack up this year with some of the best quarterbacks in the league. I'm just saying what Saquon Barkley's doing doesn't get done every year. Guys don't run for 2,200 yards.
He's
every
averaging
year.
6.1 yards on the ground per
Is
carry.
that right? In the NFL, that's almost unheard of today.
He's averaging 6 yards per carry. And he's had over 246 carries this year.
Yeah.
That's
He's amazing.
He is on pace to damn near carry the ball almost 300 times this season.
No, more than that, because how many times has he carried it?
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
More than that.
He's played 12 games.
Yeah.
He's got
5 more games.
I'd say 4 if they lock up the.
True.
Yeah. So 4 games.
True.
He averages
No, you're right. 20
carries? 20 to 22 carries a game.
There's 80 more.
Oh, well over
300.
over
300.
Damn.
Did we say how many yards, Jim, has he rushed for? 1499?
1499.
So, and what's the record? What's the
21 like something?
Okay,
It's like the low 2100.
Okay, so he is pacing. If he played 17 times, 21-24.
Yeah.
He's pacing for 2124.
That would break Dickerson's record.
If you break Dickerson's record, I feel like that should get you an MVP. Is that stupid to say?
But it won't. It'll get him
It won't?
offense. It's just, and by the way,
I know.
it's so
yeah,
dumb.
exactly.
Offensive player of the year, it goes to like last year was Christian McCaffrey.
Right.
But the MVP was Lamar Jackson. I'm like, so this year, if Saquon gets offensive player of the year and then they give the MVP to Josh Allen, like, shouldn't it be both?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
If you're the offensive and if you put up some insane numbers that year, and shouldn't the MVP be the offensive player unless it's a defensive player, which it never is anymore?
Let's react to that on the other side. Plus, Sean Dillon, San Diego State football director of player personnel on National Signing Day. He will join us at 4:30. We have San Diego State basketball tickets to give away this hour for Saturday night against USD. Stay with us. It's Jon and Jim. All right, 218 on the text line. No text. 70470 started with the word team. We're about 8 hours into the show. I haven't read it live. AM radio. I'll get to the text line. When you were gone, me and Brendan decided I was just already. I love that. I'm happy. So read the AM radio. Oh, AM radio. AM radio. Voices. All the vital voices. Congress can secure the future, but we need your help. Text AM to 52886 now. Support keeping AM radio in cars. So remember Congress to pass legislation now to keep AM radio in cars. Get a message. You can do actually okay. That's good. 218. He says was driving. An MVP should have more than 20 touchdowns thrown by December 4th. This is regarding Josh Allen. Again, the numbers will be fine. They're going to be very good. He's got 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions for one of the best teams in the NFL. But again, is that so statistically gaudy that it should like supersede Saquon Barkley setting records for tailbacks? That's my point. And I think at the end of the day, you're going to be right, which is it's a quarterback-driven award.
Yeah. The award
goes to the best quarterback.
It's the best quarterback award now. Really.
12 straight years, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, it just doesn't go to running backs or defensive players.
Right, exactly.
And that's why, I mean, MVP award, the name of the award is most valuable player.
That's right.
I could definitely argue that Josh Allen is the most valuable player because if the Bills don't have Josh Allen, then they aren't even sniffing the postseason with who's their backup? Barkley?
Saquon?
No, not
Matt
Barkley.
He's got 6 rushing touchdowns too.
Okay, that is impressive.
And he caught a touchdown pass against the Niners because the Niners suck.
Right.
But
okay, that's true.
If the Eagles didn't have Saquon, are they still a good football team? Probably.
Not as good.
Not as good.
Not as good.
But they still have Brown.
Well, they've Hurts.
Yeah. They still have a really good offensive line.
So most valuable. So we're coming at it from the position that the quarterback position is the most valuable. Therefore, the best of those 32 starters is the most valuable player because the most valuable position is quarterback.
Right.
Therefore, the best there is the most valuable player.
And then offensive player, then like Chris McCaffrey last year had the best offensive season.
He got that.
Yes, and this year Saquon will get the offensive player of the year.
I buy that. I'm fine with that.
I talked myself into it. There we go.
It's fine. It's just I don't know if it's fully quote unquote. I don't know what's right or wrong. I just feel like if you rush for 2,200 yards and nobody's ever done it, that deserves MVP consideration.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that. If nobody's done something that you've done, what Josh Allen's going to do, play for a 13-4 team and throw for 30 touchdowns.
His stats will never be remembered.
Yeah, everyone's done that.
Yeah, no one.
And he's not even going to be the quarterback of the best team in the NFL by record. In all likelihood,
maybe. I think the Bills have a good shot.
What's the record?
Their game behind the
Chiefs. Okay, I mean, he might be. You're right.
What about Lamar Jackson?
Always up there.
He's thrown 29 touchdowns, only 3 picks this year. He's got 3 more rushing touchdowns. He beat Josh Allen and the Bills. They kicked the hell out of him. It was like 35-10.
No, and I definitely agree with that, Brent. But voters will be like, well, he won MVP last year and his team's record isn't as good this year.
Winning MVP last year shouldn't be a part of the conversation. His team not being as good, it can be part of the conversation. But Aaron Rodgers has 4, and he won back-to-back, right?
Yeah.
In that run?
I think voters will be like, oh, Josh Allen. Give one to Josh Allen.
Yeah, probably.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, probably.
Like Lamar's got what, 2 now? 3? 2?
I don't know.
He's got 2.
A couple. I mean, I think if you ask me what team has the best chance to beat the Chiefs because of their quarterback, I would say Josh Allen with the Bills, as opposed to Lamar Jackson with the Ravens.
But also Lamar Jackson. If I'm just picking quarterbacks, yeah, maybe I pick Josh because Josh has played better against the Chiefs overall in the postseason and regular season. Lamar in the postseason just crumbles every time.
Completely crumbles. And there's no real reason to believe that's not going to change because even this year, I mean, they have 4 losses. They just lost at home to the Eagles. Like, are
Yeah,
they
but-
really going to win 3 straight playoff games? In the
Yeah, but the
AFC?
MVP is a regular season award. The postseason doesn't matter.
True. But in general, who are you picking to beat the Chiefs? If you had to pick one team that's going to actually beat the Chiefs this year, what team are you picking? I'm picking Buffalo.
In the AFC?
Yeah, I'm picking Buffalo.
In the AFC, yes.
In the AFC.
Yeah.
Detroit can do it in the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Philadelphia can do it in the NFC.
Tell you what, matchup in the Super Bowl, Lions, Bills, I think a dream matchup.
Well, neither have ever won.
And, you know, Bills fan base is huge. And the entire country would be rooting. Whoever they root for, it's like, well, that team's going to win their first.
I agree with that.
World Series.
World Series would be huge.
It would be their first World Series too. That's accurate.
Both teams have both never been in a Super Bowl or World Series.
Why is it still 50 hours long?
760. Lamar also has much more offensive talent around him. And I was thinking the same thing.
Oh, Derrick Henry.
Well,
but still.
Yeah, but does that contribute to his 29 touchdowns thrown? Or his 3 rushing? Yes,
top
of course,
tier running back.
Of course. Yeah, it'll be interesting. If I had to Chiefs or the field, I'm 1,000% taking the field.
No question.
But you throw a second team in there, you know, like name of the top 4, Philly, Detroit, Chiefs, Bills. If you took any 2 of those, I might like Chiefs and any one other team in there. I might then take that combination. Like Chiefs and Bills, I might take that combination.
Because like, can you envision, like, I don't know, Minnesota? No,
I can't.
Can you envision the Packers?
Packers outside. I don't see it, but that would be like my 5th or 6th choice.
No chance from any team in the NFC West or the NFC South.
No, it's not gonna be like the Rams.
No, or the Seahawks
right,
or the Falcons.
Right.
And in the AFC, do you envision like Baltimore getting past?
Or like the Chargers? No.
Chargers?
No.
Tell you, man, Steelers, they're a little sneaky.
Yeah, that's true.
They're sneaky.
You have been saying that.
They're sneaky. And they could easily lose. But, you know, they have a good defense. TJ Watt is actually healthy now. And Russ is cooking a little bit.
Russ is cooking.
He's cooking a little bit. Might not be great, but he's still cooking.
All right, let's catch up on this National Signing Day with Sean Dillon. He is San Diego State football's director of player personnel. 18 new Aztecs signed to the Mesa earlier today. So Sean Dillon next. And then after our conversation, we're giving away San Diego State basketball tickets for Saturday night at Viejas Arena against USD. Stay with us. All right, hey guys, it is Jon and Jim for our friends over at Jamul Casino. December is here. It's an amazing time to get to Jamul because every Monday this month, you've got a chance to win luxury handbags from top brands like Louis Vuitton, Burberry, Versace, and more. 10 winners every hour, 7, 8, 9 p.m. Onyx players receive an extra $100 cash bonus, plus one lucky winner each hour gets the opportunity to pick a purse packed with cash up to $25K. And you get to keep the purse too.
Yeah, after you win a luxury handbag and potentially win $25,000, you can make your way over to Tony Gwynn's Sports Pub or Loft 94 or their poker rooms this Saturday at 7 p.m. to watch UFC 310.
And later this month, New Year's Eve, join them at Holographic New Year's Party. Celebrate in style. They're going to kick off festivities with $20 of free play for all beginning at noon. You won't want to miss it. Celebrate New Year's Eve at Jamul Casino.
Yeah, not only do they have UFC 310 this weekend, they always have NFL games and NBA, NHL. They have it all. You can watch it at Tony Gwynn Sports Pub, Loft 94, or their poker room. And if you're going to the Tony Gwynn Sports Pub, they have amazing food. So if you're hungry, go pick up some food at Tony Gwynn Sports Pub, watch a game, have a great time. Jamul Casino, it's fun above all else. All right, this update is brought to you by Progressive. San Diego State takes on Fresno State tonight in Fresno, 7:30 tip time. You can listen to that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. But before that, make sure to tune in to the Sean Lewis Coaches Show as he talks about National Signing Day starting at 6 p.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at progressive.com. That's progressive.com.
All right, National Signing Day on the Mesa throughout college football as well. Always one of those special days. If you're a college football fan, like you have National Signing Day circled, San Diego State landing 18 on signing day here in 2025. We've got their director of player personnel for the Aztecs, Sean Dillon, with us right now. Jon and Jim, home of the Aztecs, San Diego Sports 760. So, Sean, we appreciate you. We appreciate you taking a few minutes for us. We know it's been a very busy day. Just from like a 30,000 foot view, coming off 2024, heading into 2025 with these 18 players, what were you hoping to accomplish with this class, and what do you think you were able to do here today?
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having on me. And just kind of, obviously, we got here in January, and we were on the go with these guys, playing catch up a little bit with all of our this class. So I think what we did best was we identified who fit in our system and who fit our culture-wise. So we were able to identify guys right in January when we went on the road coaching, when the coaches went on the road recruiting, and we were able to get these guys on campus as much as possible throughout this whole process from January when we got here until now. So we were able to, obviously, the character attributes and the physical attributes, we wanted to check off and make sure they were a great football player, but also a great person that we're bringing in. So I think we did a great job of finding who we wanted early once we got here and get him on campus and get him to sign today.
Sean, what can you tell us about your QB commit from Long Beach?
So JP will actually be here as a early enrollee in January, which is great. So he could come in and start working with our offense and compete for a starting job. But the great thing about JP was Coach Lewis and Coach Johnson identified him in January when they were out on the road recruiting. And JP was we were in this class, he was the first official visitor we brought in April during our spring game, and he committed a couple of days later. So JP has a great arm. He can make all the throws, but he also has a dual threat ability where he could take off and run.
Sean Dillon is with us right now, San Diego State football director of player personnel. So we see, it's easy, obviously, when you look at the list of players, we see 5 offensive linemen, which is obviously a big number overall. What can you tell us? So is it 6 offensive linemen?
6, yeah.
I think it's 5.
1, 2,
Sean, is it 5 or 6?
3, 4, 5, 6.
No, we got 5.
Oh,
come on, Jim. This is what I deal with every day, Sean. Welcome to my life.
I miscounted.
So, 5 offensive linemen, which is obviously a big number because Sean Lewis he's got the Sean Lewis show coming up at 6 p.m. But I spoke with him earlier. He's like, listen, you try to have 15 maybe offensive linemen on scholarship. So 5's a big number for the class. What are the characteristics and traits of these 5, and why did you ultimately go with 5 as opposed to maybe 3 or 4?
Absolutely, and we want to start building our trenches. We want to get bigger up front, O-line and D-line, but we want to be athletic as well. So the great thing about our 5 guys is 3 of them will be here in January as mid-year guys. So obviously starting off with Jet Thomas from San Diego here in La Jolla, who just got the San Diego O-lineman high school player of the year. Jet is a great kid, big, physical, tough, nasty O-lineman with the speed, the bend, the balance to really be a factor for us. Ashton from Sierra Canyon is a big tackle prospect that we identified. We saw at camp. He's been here before at least 4 or 5 times, so we felt great about Ashton as a tackle prospect, but potentially could play guard as well. Iqbal Kasim's our last mid-year guy from Corona Centennial. So Iqbal was injured his junior year, so not much film. But we saw him in spring. Coach Mike Schmidt saw him in spring, saw him work out at their showcase, and offered him then. And then Iqbal came to camp and really put on a show at our camp in June, and that's when he committed a couple of days later. So we're excited about those 3 guys coming mid-year. And then DJ Kraft from Salesians, a big 6'5", 6'6", 285-pound offensive lineman, can play tackle, can play guard. He can even play D-line for us. He has that athletic skill set that we want to get in here, that we can mold and develop. And then Chase Duarte is another one who came to our camp in June and got an offer from us, and we loved how he is as a competitor, how athletic he is, how physical he is. He come in as a guard prospect for us. So we kind of wanted to get some guards. We wanted to get some tackles as well. We wanted to get some big boys up front, so we could start dominating the trenches. So that was our kind of main focus, was getting bigger up front, but also having athletic offensive linemen.
Yeah, I mean, Ashton's 6'9", 360. It's listed here. That's pretty big.
Weren't you that size as a 17-year-old?
I was. I actually shrunk a little bit. I went on a diet. But Sean, I'm looking here of where some of these kids went to high school, and Jet Thomas, you mentioned here, from San Diego, and Sean Lewis mentions it a lot. He mentioned it a lot last year when he got hired, and this year at his press conference today, the phrase "hometown heroes." How important is that to this program, and a phrase that is used a lot by Sean Lewis to make sure that recruiting here in San Diego is a big thing?
Absolutely, and going back to that is we basically, whenever we go out on the road recruiting, we have area coaches who hit their areas, and the position coaches hit their own position guys as well. And we're always focusing on basically San Diego all the way through Orange County, the Inland Empire, everything like that. So the great thing about focusing here in the state of California is we can get them on campus as much as possible. I think all of our commits have been to multiple games this year. In spring ball, they've came multiple times. So the great thing about it is they're able to come here, and we're able to get to know them instead of going out of state where we might be able to get them on campus once or twice. So I think it works in our favor. And I told Coach, I go, we don't have to make things difficult here. Like, we're in the state of California. We don't have to go far to grab some guys. So let's do a great job in our areas, make sure that we're covering all of our bases, and get as many of those players here on campus as possible. So obviously we could check out their physical attributes, but also get to know them character-wise as well.
Sean Dillon is with us, San Diego State Football Director of Player Personnel. It is National Signing Day. Just touching on some of these newcomers to the Mesa for 2025 and hopefully beyond. I'm curious because there's a couple of edge rushers among these commits. And is it an easier sell when you go to this defense that's a 4-2-5 and then you see the successes of some of these players, specifically Trey White? I mean, Trey White emerging as one of the top defensive linemen and edge rushers in America. Does that help sell the vision a little easier on the recruiting trail?
Absolutely. When Trey was leading the nation in sacks, like all the edges that we were recruiting, like, man, I want to be the next Trey White. Yeah. And the great thing about it is they can see Trey, they see themselves as Trey in our defense, and running a 4-2-5, those edge rushers can kind of basically have one job: go get the quarterback. Mm-hmm. And Coach Eric Smith does a great job with the defense. Coach Rob Orich does a great job with the edges, and we kind of want those speed rushers who can go get the quarterback and be a difference maker for us.
Is the attention already, before you go real quickly, you're already looking at 2026 and beyond, right? Like, it never stops. You're already on to the next recruiting cycle?
Absolutely. We had our last game against Air Force, we had about 40 top 2026s that we invited here and got on campus. We're going to have a couple of junior days in January. We're going to start getting those guys on campus and start doing our character legworks on them as well. So it never stops here.
All right. Jim was doing some quick math. Are you adding up the Californians among the commits? What were you doing? When I see Jim doing something, it's always interesting.
Bro, I was just adding up that 13 of the 18 commits are from California. And that's the philosophy of making sure that your hometown talent stays here in California.
Did he add that up right, Sean? Is it 13?
Yep, that's correct.
Yes, I did it right.
I said real quick before you go, but is it true? Could you build a roster just with San Diego County? Like, is there enough talent in the county where you could, in theory, take 8, 10, 12, 14 from the county? Is that possible?
Absolutely. We want to keep the hometown guys home, and San Diego's a great football background. So obviously, we've offered, even in 26, we're on a bunch of San Diego kids already for 2026. So we want to basically prioritize local first. And the great thing about it is they're right down the street from us. They can come visit us anytime they want. So we're going to keep that as our focal point and branch out to Orange County, Inland Empire, all that LA area, even NorCal. But San Diego is always going to be our focal point.
Sean Dillon. Sean, congratulations on the successes with this class. Again, the Sean Lewis Show is coming up with more at 6 p.m. tonight on San Diego Sports 760, but we appreciate you taking time for us today.
Of course, guys. Appreciate it, too.
All right, good stuff. Sean Dillon on this 2025 football class. Jim's been crunching the numbers. I'm like 5 offensive. No, 6. I'm like, no.
Well, no, because right here.
What? Where?
Okay, top. It says
okay.
Offensive line, defensive line. I was just reading the line part. I was like,
there lies the problem with the show.
Well, that's the problem with the show.
You only read half the words.
That's the problem.
All right. Who wants 2 free tickets to see San Diego State men's basketball against USD Saturday night at Viejas Arena at 7 p.m.? This is a great prize for trivia. First 2 callers will be our contestants. We have 2 free tickets to see San Diego State back home against USD crosstown game Saturday at 7. Call right now, 877-767-4760 if you want those tickets. 877-767-4760. Call right now if you want those tickets. First 2 callers will be our contestants. 2 free tickets to see the Aztecs at home Saturday night. It's Trainwreck Radio, it's trivia, and it's next on Jon and Jim. All right, there's something I agree with Mike Francesa on. We'll play Trainwreck Radio for a second. And we'll get back to the legend Roki Sasaki at 5 p.m. New York Post. Mike Francesa refuses to watch baseball if Golden Bat rules. When we go that far, I'm just done. Everything's over. Jon Jim, wrap up show. My career. I will die on that hill. I'm not old, like men in clouds. No. Francesa. I'm you're always so annoying.
Like even 35 for 30.
You can't.
Still 35.
I don't believe you.
I'm still 35. I was 35 when the show started. I'm 35 now.
Exactly. You're 35 4 years
ago. I'm like a Benjamin Button that doesn't age. I just stay one age like forever.
You were born at 35 with a beard.
Right.
You'll never be older. You'll never be younger.
Nope.
So Francesa is done. But then again, his career's done. I mean, he can say that. Oh, never watch baseball. Well, yeah.
Does Francesa still do 7 hours of radio?
He's out.
Oh, wow.
It's been a year or two. He had a show on WFAN from like 1 till Devils hockey at 6:50. It was like single show, like solo show for 6 hours. It was 5.5. I think it was 1:30 to 7.
But he would have like jammed phone lines though, right?
Jammed phone lines, and then his guests, like when he would have Aaron Boone on or whoever the head coach or 34-minute interview, just straight through, and then they would just this was sponsored. Like here's Aaron Boone presented by Nissan, and just 40 minutes with Aaron Boone.
That's amazing.
We should have Aaron Boone on. We should have Francesa on.
We should have a Padre player on.
That'd be fun. We should play Trainwreck Radio.
First time for everything.
Let's play.
All right, 3 questions, 2 contestants, 1 lifeline. Today's 2 contestants are Jake and Jose. Jake, you called in first. You have your choice of John or Jim. Who do you want to go with?
I'll go with Jim.
All right. So Jake, you get me. Jose, you get John. Okay, you there?
No, I'm here.
All right.
He's
so
there.
Jose and John, Jake and Jim, Brent, question.
All right, guys, today's question. Did you know that there are 8 Japanese-born pitchers in Major League Baseball history with 50 or more wins? Today's question, name any of the 8 Japanese-born pitchers in MLB history with 50 or more wins.
All right.
Cool.
Jose, you're up first. What's your first guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Oh, geez. So we'll start with the Padre pitcher. Why is his name is Yu Darvish?
No, Yu Darvish.
His name was escaping me.
There you
go. Jake, you're up now. What's your first guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
I'll use my lifeline here because I don't know much baseball.
Okay. Hideo Nomo, do you take it? Say yes.
Did you take Hideo Nomo?
Jake.
What?
Jake, so Jim gave you Hideo Nomo, but you don't have to take it. Would you like to take his suggestion?
Yeah, I'll trust Jim on this one.
He'll take Jim on this one.
All right.
All right, Jim got something right.
Jose, back to you. What's your second guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Let's go with Tanaka.
Masahiro Tanaka.
Jake, you're up next. What's your second guess? You don't have a lifeline. What do you got?
Kenta Maeda.
Kenta Maeda. We got some Japanese baseball
pulled
fans.
out of their
Is Kenta Maeda
pants.
on the list?
Out of his pocket.
First of all, this isn't the most easy thing to Google, by the way.
Jose, you're up next.
You gotta get
what is your
search.
final guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Let's use that lifeline.
Is that me?
It's you.
I'll give you Daisuke.
Daisuke.
I don't know. I'm going to assume Daisuke Matsuzaka. You take it?
All right, I'll take it.
How about
There you
that? He burst on. Oh, is it? Is that it?
Is that it?
Someone get it wrong?
No, Jake has one.
Jake's got bottom of the ninth.
Yeah, bottom of the ninth. Golden the bat rule in play.
Golden the bat.
There
Jake.
we go. Jake, final guess. You don't have a lifeline, so it's all to you.
Shohei Ohtani.
Shohei Ohtani. Does he have 50 big league wins?
Oh,
a terrible guess. Just kidding.
Horrible guess,
Okay, so Jose, you know what? It's interesting because Ohtani has
close, right? Like he's got in the 40s.
He's got to
right?
be close. How many wins? Is that?
38.
38. All right,
Close.
so he could, in theory, get there.
Yeah.
All right. So who do we miss? That's quite a list, actually.
Nomo's number 1. Yu's number 2. Hiroki Kuroda is number 3. Tanaka's 4. Maeda is 5. Let's see, Hiyashi Wakuguma. I don't know.
Yeah.
Listen to Brent
Well,
try to pronounce
Well,
it.
you knew this was going to happen eventually. Then Dice K, and then Tomo Oka.
Who's 9 through 30? I'm kidding. All right.
Read them all, Brent.
Yeah, I like it. Roki Sasaki, will he be on that list?
He's already going to. Yeah, he will.
He probably will. All right. Congratulations, Jose. You've won 2 free tickets to see San Diego State Saturday night against USD at Viejas Arena. Limited tickets may be available at GoAztecs.com.
Put it this way: Shota Umaga is already 20th.
Shota Umaga is 20th. Where's Yoshinobu Yamamoto?
He's got 7, so
by top 30.
Yeah.
31st.
31st.
Yeah, well.
All right. On the other side, we have some updates related to Roki Sasaki, and you'll hear from Jon Heyman on him. Plus, next hour, if you missed our conversation with John Fanta, great voice on college basketball, we'll share it with you coming up at 5:30 as San Diego State gets ready for Fresno State tonight on San Diego Sports 760. But we'll kick off hour 4 of Jon and Jim next.
All right, this update's brought to you by Progressive Insurance. San Diego State takes on Fresno State tonight, 7:30 up in Fresno. Pregame starts at 7 p.m. And before that, 6 p.m. is the Sean Lewis Coaches Show, talking about National Signing Day. So make sure to listen to all that right here on San Diego Sports 760. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at progressive.com. That's progressive.com today.
Getting you all set for that drive home.
Guess what? When they show MLB on Fox on Saturday afternoon and it's Cardinals Pirates,
FS1, by the way, not Fox.
and FS1, it's not bringing one additional person to the television. Like, who is your audience? Baseball fans or people you want to be baseball fans?
Yeah,
Right? Who are you catering to? The people that actually watch your sport or people you want to watch your sport? NFL fans don't care about your sport. NBA fans aren't coming to you because, hey, I really like LeBron, but now that I get to see Bryce Harper an extra time in the ninth inning, I'm no longer a Laker fan. It doesn't work like that.
Let's just start the show. Here's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Final hour of Jon and Jim. If you missed our conversation with John Fanta, great voice on college basketball, a lot of discussion on the Aztecs. You'll hear that coming up at 5:30. There's some news to report on Roki Sasaki, some speculation. We'll share some of that with you from Jon Heyman momentarily. Did you see what the Padres tweeted out? You know, in the holiday season, everyone shares like their Spotify playlist from the year.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Because Spotify sends you an email like, this is what you listened to this year.
Right.
And then people, it's like Spotify Wrapped. And it's like unwrapping your playlist for the year. Well, the Padres have tweeted out their Spotify Wrapped.
Did we make it?
No. Here are our top moments.
Oh, it wasn't us.
Here's our top moments from the Padres in 2024. Okay. The tweet says on repeat with a music emoji for the notes, and then hashtag Spotify Wrapped. Number one, the triple play. You remember that? The next day, Mookie Betts was talking to Tatis about it.
Yeah, like, dude, that was pretty sweet, huh? You trying to triple play on us.
What if their top moments like the Mookie Betts podcast? We listen to that a lot.
24 straight scoreless innings.
Oh, dude, stop. So number one, they say, is the triple play. Number two is the Dylan Cease no-hitter. Okay.
In Washington.
Number three is Manny Machado crowned Padres home run king. Okay.
I kind of forgot about that.
So did I. Do you know who didn't?
Oh, Manny Machado.
Darnay Tripp.
Oh, Darnay Tripp.
Number
oh, yeah, that's right.
4, Merrill Madness.
Just Merrill Madness.
That's fair. Okay. A lot of good moments late in games this summer. Number 5, Fernando Tatis Jr.'s first career walk-off. I'd forgotten about that. Okay.
That's top 5?
But here's what I'm thinking about that. In your top 5 isn't anything that happened in the postseason. You had a series win in the postseason, which doesn't fall out of trees every day.
Oof.
You're not
going to put Michael King 12 strikeouts
or Manny Machado throwing the ball towards Dave Roberts.
One of our favorite moments of the year was that sinister sling by Manny Machado.
So, like, are you cool with that top 5? There were a lot of good games.
Jerks and Profar's
kicking Ken Rosenthal out of the dugout,
robbing the home run and
yelling at Dodger
Stadium.
fans.
Michael King's 12 strikeouts in his postseason debut in Game 1
That's
versus the
gotta be
Braves
on there.
has to be ahead of Tatis's first walk-off. Now, I'm guessing they probably put that there because his shirt got taken off and everyone was like, "Oh my god!"
They don't even, the picture they used isn't even him, is it? It's so hard for me to see. Is that him without a shirt on?
Yes. How could you not see that?
My vision. I'm old.
You are old man yelling at cloud.
Our top moments. What's your top San Diego sports moment of the year? All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Like, is there a moment from the last year that was the most memorable? Unfortunately, it's kind of the
opposite.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's Game 5 of the NLDS. It's Game 4 of the NLDS.
Yeah.
I guess that's how sports work sometimes.
I would say, I know they didn't win the series, but like as a moment goes, when Tatis hit that 3-run home run in Game 3 at Dodger State or Padres at
Padres Stadium
at Petco Park, can't speak. See, this happens to be a 4-hour show. I can't speak. I already can't speak as it is, and then boom, here you go, 4 hours, can't speak. His Game 3 home run in the second inning in the Super Bowl when they won the World Series.
Super Bowl?
Yeah. His Game 3 homer off Walker Buehler in the second inning.
Oh, I'm like, this series is over.
I'm like, oh, it's
yeah,
done.
this
There it
thing
goes.
is
There it
so
went over.
done.
I think as a moment, and they won the game too. So like, it makes that moment bigger. And that was the last time they scored.
was it really the last time they
last
scored
time
later
they
in the
scored because it made it 6-0
and they won 6-5
or 6-1, I think.
and they won 6-5, right?
Yeah, 6-1, I believe. That moment, I think that moment is bigger than the Tatis first walk off of the year or of his career. I think it's got to be up there. Would you agree? I mean, that was incredible.
I also thought game 2 was incredible. That was great,
I agree,
Peter, because you're yelling. The Dodger fans are throwing trash. The problem is I can't relish that series knowing how it ends.
I know.
I can't.
But as like a singular,
awesome. It was awesome in the moment.
That's probably
go back and watch that wrap-up show. It's probably we're probably like,
oh yeah,
partying like it's 1999.
That's probably why it's not on this top 5 list
because you can't put that in there.
No, you can't. And good on them because if they did, then it would have been almost cursed there.
Oh, great.
It would have been crapped on. I'm sure there are Dodger fans in the replies saying, "Where's the 24 scoreless innings at?"
Yeah, exactly.
Which is in our replies every single freaking day.
Top Padres moment of the year 70470. Started with team. Top San Diego sports moment of the year 70470.
What's a Padres moment?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's funny you say that. I mean, again, when it comes to sports in San Diego, we get it. There's not a million things to choose from. I was there when they won 2 games in the NCAA tournament this year. I personally, and I think Aztec fans enjoyed that. You get to a Sweet 16. That was fun. But there wasn't that.
Oh, my God.
No, I mean, you're coming off a national championship the year before. So that is going to take the cake.
Yep.
In the last 2 tournament runs. Was it impressive to get back to a Sweet 16? Yeah, I think a lot of people would say yes. They've never done that. Back-to-back Sweet 16s. But the magnifying glass was onto the Padres in 2024. And unfortunately, they didn't capitalize.
Whenever we have these conversations in December at the end of the year,
it's always
what's the best moment of the year in sports in San Diego? The farther we get away from it, that Lamont shot.
That's a big time moment.
Like I remember watching that, and when he hit it, like freaking out.
Where were you in actual location, like couch, home, out?
I was at home.
With this home right now?
No, we were
the place that was infested with roaches.
Yeah. We were in where was it? University Heights.
Right.
And I was watching it with Aaron and our roommate Taylor.
Right.
And yeah, that's where I was, and it was like,
were you like,
oh my God,
how nervous?
So nervous
just watching that because, yeah, I mean, you thought about getting there for the Final Four, but for whatever reason,
I thought about getting there after they made it to
the championship.
Yeah, because I could not go to the semifinal game because we were doing a pregame show here, and I needed to be here.
I remember that. So you were pacing, in that moment. You had to be paid. I mean, I don't even know how I dealt with it courtside. I still have a video on my phone. You've seen it.
Yeah.
That I've never shared publicly.
Wait, hold on. Let me see it.
No, because if I showed it to you, you would put it on social media.
No, how would I do that? I can't.
Well, you have the ability. You hit text.
Just let me see.
You've never seen it?
I want to see it during the break.
It's unbelievable.
I've never seen it. I don't think
Shut
you've
up.
ever.
I probably never showed it to you because I knew you would freak out.
Yeah, you've never shown it to me. The video.
Oh my gosh, are you serious? You will lose your mind when you see this video because you'll see my reaction.
Can I get the reaction on air? Come on, let me see.
Yeah, hold on. But I need to, me, I don't even know where favorites are.
Oh my gosh. Yes, you do. I can do it. Well, unless you have some
Well,
bad photos in your phone.
No, I don't think they're that bad. Hold on.
Like, hey, Kristen, what's up?
Are you saying that moment, though, Lamont shot takes the cake? How far do you have to go back to surpass Lamont Butler's shot in terms of a San Diego sports moment?
Padres beating the Dodgers.
Which would have been just a year prior?
Like months prior.
Because that was March 2023 and that was October of 2022.
Yep. Those two moments.
But you're saying that definitively
back to
takes...
back. A lot of people, yes.
Yeah, sure.
Aztecs fan. Majority of people in San Diego. Let me see.
Okay, look at this video from a media member behind me.
Okay.
Wait for me to come into the picture. AG defends that shot from FAU. Here come the Aztecs.
All right.
You're going to see my head. There's Ted.
There's Ted.
There's me.
There's you. All right. I'm watching you. Oh, yeah. I've seen this. freak out.
It's like
you
fall
freak
over.
out, and oh my gosh.
I've still never experienced anything like that in person. It was basically like watching a marquee heavyweight fight where someone gets knocked out. That was the reaction of the crowd. Not that I've ever been to a marquee heavyweight fight, but the reaction from the crowd was like, oh my God. The whole crowd in unison was like, I don't even know how to describe it, like shocked.
How lucky. Well, I know obviously you'd want to call that moment, but the way you reacted, I don't know how you would have called it.
I would never put that on social because that's a meme.
Ted's call is very iconic.
Do we have that?
I'm sure somewhere.
Right, yeah.
But like Ted just being like there, like you just jumped out of your seat.
Oh,
you
yeah,
tripped over yourself and you're like,
yeah.
oh my gosh.
I'm almost glad I didn't call because
And Ted is just sitting there and he's watching it. And obviously the call is good.
Yeah. Dude,
so good.
It was wild.
Yeah.
But the point is, it's funny because we're like, oh, San Diego, woe is us. NFL left. Other cities have 8 professional sports teams. We've had some good moments this decade in the 2020s. That San Diego State's a national championship game like a year ago. Padres have been in the postseason 3 of the last 5 years. We're in an NLCS a couple years ago. Like, okay, there's some things.
But the problem is they're few and far in between, and there's not many chances to have those types of moments. Like for a lot of places, it's like, the college basketball team here did great or didn't do great. Then we have the NBA to fall back on, or the NFL and the NBA and baseball.
That's right.
And NHL.
Right.
Can't really do that here.
No, that is a factual statement. You cannot do that here. But again, your top moment of the year, 70470. You can start it with the word team. Padres or otherwise. Top moment of the year, 70470. Start it with team. And when's the last moment to top Lamont shot? And when's the last moment to top Jake Cronenworth in 2022 against the Dodgers? Is this Ted? Here's Teddy.
On the drive against AG, puts it up. Short rebound, AG. AG got the rebound. Here are the Aztecs down 1, 4, 3. Lamont Butler. Pull-up jump shot. Good. They're storming the court. Who's going to the championship game? Not FAU. No. The San Diego State Aztecs are going to the NCAA championship game on Monday. How about them Aztecs? How about them boys? On the drive against AG.
That actually did just give me chills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know it's overmodulated a little bit.
Yeah, my bad.
That's your fault. You're the one that was like just cheering on and not
I was not
worried about the equipment.
I wasn't anywhere near the equipment.
But I think that is what kind of gives it the charm. Like that it is a little overmodulated. It's real, like it sometimes like it's not gonna be perfect. Some of the greatest calls, like there's something wrong with it. Like there might be something wrong with it. Like
it's too like buttoned up.
I don't like the button up. I like the raw. And that's why Ted there.
Yes.
It's so good because it's so raw. And it's not as buttoned up as someone else, maybe.
No,
but that's Ted.
Exactly.
That makes it great. Is that's Ted. And I thought it was a fantastic
That's a really good call. I completely agree.
An iconic call that will live forever.
In San Diego. That's a great, it'll live forever in San Diego. And you can hear Ted tonight, by the way, at 7:30. San Diego State and Fresno State. All right, the latest from Jon Heyman on Roki Sasaki. That's on the other side of this break. Plus, if you missed John Fanta, great college basketball voice with us. We'll share that with you coming up at 5:30. It's Jon and Jim. All right, hey guys, it is Jon and Jim for our friends over at Hamul Casino, and this is a great month to get out there. It really is. Every Monday in December, you've got a chance to win luxury handbags for your significant others, potentially from top brands, Louis Vuitton, Burberry, Versace, and more. Is it Burberry or Burberry? I think it's Burberry. 10 winners every hour, 7 to 8 and 9 p.m. Onyx players receive an extra $100 cash bonus, Plus, one lucky winner each hour gets the opportunity to pick a purse packed with cash up to $25,000, and you get to keep the purse as well.
Well, when you win the Burberry,
I think it's Burberry,
or Versace, or Louis Vuitton, and you also win $25,000, just make your way over to Tony Gwynn Sports Pub this Saturday, December 7th at 7 p.m. to watch UFC 310, or you can hang out at Loft 94 or their great poker room where they'll be playing or having UFC 310 on the screens.
How about New Year's Eve at Hamul? You can join them at the holographic New Year's party. Celebrate in style as we'll kick off the festivities with $20 free play for all at noon. Don't miss a moment of the action. New Year's Eve at Hamul.
Yeah. Also, if you want to watch any other sporting event there, NFL right now, NHL, NBA, college basketball, college football, they have it all. Tony Gwynn Sports Pub, Loft 94, or their poker rooms. Also, if you want to get some food, Tony Gwynn Sports Pub is the place to be. Get the Slam Diego burger with the truffle fries. You're welcome. Hamul Casino, it's fun above all else.
Try to keep up with San Diego Sports 760 anytime, anywhere, whether you're stepping out of the car or settling in at home. Just ask your Google or Alexa smart speaker to play AM 760 or stream it live through the iHeartRadio app. It's easier to stay connected with your favorite shows. Like this one, San Diego Sports 760 goes where you go. All right, so let's hear from Jon Heyman. All right, this was earlier today on
Jon Heyman.
Roki Sasaki. Yeah, you know who doesn't need a 4-hour radio show is Jon Heyman. That Jon Jim is not going to fly.
No,
Jon Heyman.
No,
and this voice, but
get a lot of great contacts and information from Jon Heyman, though.
In theory, you do. But the question is there fire where there is smoke related to Roki Sasaki? Listen to Jon Heyman.
Sasaki, I think that the Padres have a real shot at Sasaki. I know a lot of people favor the Dodgers right from the start. As I wrote in my column today about hoping that the Dodgers don't land Sasaki, Soto, and Teo, all three of them, I do believe that the Padres are a threat in that case. And I've heard that Sasaki very much admires Yu Darvish, and that gives the Padres some sincere hope to land Sasaki. But I think those are still the two favorites. Everybody would want him. 23-year-old pitcher, superstar, throws 102 miles an hour. Any team would want him, but I think those are the favorites. I'm going to say the Padres have a little bit more chance than I thought previously.
I love how that ends.
He just
I'm going to say the Padres had more thought. I like the Padres more than I did previously.
And it's a done.
Okay.
So
he didn't say they were the favorite.
No, because
they have a real shot.
Everybody is saying the Dodgers are the favorite, but they're also saying don't count out the Padres. They have a legitimate shot at this. This is not just a well, here's a couple teams just to put a couple teams there, and then he's going to the Dodgers no matter what.
Right.
I would be surprised if at the end of the day, whenever Sasaki picks, which will be over a month from now,
right,
it's a team, someone other than the Dodgers or the Padres.
Yeah, I agree. I also would be surprised if that happens. Now, I agree that most people are saying that, okay, maybe there's another favorite other than the Padres and it's the Dodgers, but we mentioned this tweet earlier from Francis Romero, who is an accredited Baseball Writers of America member. And he tweeted sources. Several industry sources believe the Padres are in a strong position to land Japanese ace Roki Sasaki. I mean, why would you tweet that if you thought they were going to finish second? And why would you even tweet that unless you had a level of confidence?
Well, it's not saying that the Padres are going to get Roki Sasaki. He just says they're in a strong position to get him.
Right.
Which means that their pitch to Sasaki, according to his sources and people around baseball, that it's a strong pitch. So I understand that. It makes a lot of sense. By no means do I think that tweet equals or translates to
Sasaki to the Padres.
Oh, he's going to the Padres.
But when we say they're strong pitch, nobody's really even done a pitch. I guess it's their hypothetical pitch. They have Darvish. They're in the West.
And that's probably what
they're
it
a
is.
competitor to the Dodgers.
Right.
They have the resources. They've scouted the Pacific Rim.
They're in a win now mode.
Right. Yeah, all those things. Yeah, they're committed to winning. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, that's how I interpret that tweet. And then kind of the same thing with Jon Heyman there, that when he says that, they have a real shot to get him, that's like the same thing. Like they have a legitimate chance. This is not Dodgers are a 99% favorite here. Padres have a 1% chance. No, I feel like it's a close to 50-50, probably not, but
right, probably under 50-50 just based on everything that we know, and it is the mighty Dodgers. And
if it's 60-40 leaning the Dodgers way, 40% is still considered a real shot.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, now am I getting on a plane that has a 40% chance of landing? Probably not.
Or 60% chance of landing?
No chance in hell. But
what about a 99.99999% chance of landing? Would you get on the plane?
That's basically what people do, because there is a rounding error to 99.9999 something.
Oh, that's 99.97.
I wouldn't feel confident if they put it on the brochure. Like the marketing message was one out of every
what if they did like
9,000
Apple
go
TV
down.
baseball and they just updated the percentage as the flight went on?
Stop, dude. That scares me.
What if they said, look, this plane has a 95% chance of landing. And if
y'all get free cookies?
No. And if it lands, you get $10 million. Would you do it?
Well, you know me. I'm soft. There's a zillion people in America, zillion that would do it.
Yeah.
A zillion. You would do it, correct?
Probably.
I would do
with
it.
a wife. Brent's all in. What's your lowest percent you're getting on that plane for $10 million? That is the question. That is the question.
75.
75. Brent's 75.
Oh my goodness.
Still better odds than the lottery.
Way better. Oh, way better. Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I'll take my 40% chance at roulette.
It's
now, like,
risk reward.
Now, like, if the plane landed, but on landing it like ended up the tire
side?
popped and it crashed.
Then we're all on board.
I'm doing that. But if you're telling me
everyone survives and is okay.
No, all right, survival rate 75%.
But wait, so 95% chance you land, and then if you don't, there's still a 3 or 4 chance you live.
No, there's a 95% chance that you live, 5% chance that you don't. And if you land, and if you do survive this plane, Even if it landed and it crashed on the side and you whatever and you break your leg or something, but if you survive it,
you get 10 million.
You get 10 million. Would you do it?
No, not me, but you would.
Oh, dude,
you definitely would. I mean, I don't think Aaron would be thrilled about it.
I'd make sure she's not on the plane.
Oh, how kind of you. You're dead and she can just deal with that for the rest of her life.
Dude, that's an interesting one right there.
Brent's getting on the 75% plane.
Brent's like, screw it. I got 60%. You want me on 60%? 10 mil?
A lot of money.
Screw it.
What's this have to do with Sasaki?
Yet Brent will wear an Aaron Rodgers jersey for $10 million. And
he'll literally risk his life
on a plane that has a 75% chance of survival rate for $10 million. But Brent, for 100% chance survival rate, won't wear an Aaron Rodgers Packers jersey.
You wanted
any Packers shirt.
You wanted a 4-hour show.
You get survival
This is
rate
what
talk
you get.
on Jon and Jim. We told you this 5 o'clock hour would get kind of wonky.
Let's get back to college hoops. No good segue.
That's what really matters, right?
All right. San Diego State, Fresno State tonight. Let's get John Fanta's opinion on the Aztecs a month into the year. Great voice on all things college basketball. He will join us next on Jon and Jim.
All right, this up brought to you by Progressive. San Diego State takes on Fresno State tonight, 7:30 tip time. You can listen to that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. It's Sean Lewis Coach's Show, talking about National Signing Day. Starts at 6 p.m. You can listen to that right here on San Diego Sports 60 as well. And no Nick updates today. The Knicks don't play. Sorry. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at progressive.com. That's progressive.com.
All right, John Fanta, Fox Sports Radio. If you missed our conversation, we connected with him earlier. I said Fox Sports Radio.
John
He's
Fanta.
not Fox Sports Radio. He's a Fox Sports play-by-play announcer.
He's bigger than Fox Sports Radio.
He's bigger than Fox.
Correct.
This is the next Rupert Murdoch.
He's bigger than Rupert Murdoch.
John Fanta, who is an unbelievable voice on all things college basketball, joined us earlier today. And we started the conversation asking about a San Diego State team coming off wins over number 6 Houston against a ranked Creighton team last week as well. What does John make of the start for San Diego State?
Always great to be with you, John and Jim, and always look forward to talking college hoops with you. Jim, sorry that John threw a fastball there.
It's okay. It happens all the time, John.
Oh, okay. You're just used to it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. College hoop season arrived for San Diego State last week because when you go into that Players Era Festival in Vegas and you're in the role that San Diego State's in, where last year the Mountain West was incredible, this year it's been solid. It could be a multi-bid league. It's still early. But it's going to get multiple bids to the NCAA tournament. We'll see how many. I would probably say this is a year where not 6, maybe it's more of like a 3 or 4 situation. But again, it's early. But when you're San Diego State and you lose by 13 to Gonzaga at home, when you're in the position that they're in, you go into Vegas and you really need to make some hay. You've got to be able to do some things. And I believe they beat 2 teams that will hear their name called on Selection Sunday. No question on Houston. A little bit of a question on Creighton, who's struggling right now and who's been banged up, but has Kansas tonight and has an opportunity. But what the Aztecs showed us last week is what I've been saying on this show and what we've all been saying on this show for a number of years. San Diego State is a national program. They are on the level that a Gonzaga is year in and year out in terms of maybe not top 5, top 10, but I'm saying in the top 25, operating as a consistent program that's nationally known and a winning program. And that's because they're incredibly well coached by Brian Dutcher, who has made a couple of really interesting finds. I mean, one, Magoon Guath has become an elite shot blocker. 4 blocks per game right now for this team. Defensively, he's changing the game. So then on the offensive end of the floor, you say, all right, no more Lamont Butler, and we've lost this piece and that piece. What do we do? Well, I thought they did a great job of identifying who they needed, but also developing. That's why San Diego State's a national program. They develop players. B.J. Davis is a different player now than he was a year ago. You go out, you get Nick Boyd, but Miles Bird, John, you've seen it, goes from a guy scoring 4 points per game to a guy scoring 13 per game and 5 rebounds per game and 3 assists per game. Like they doubled down on keeping kids and of getting them better. And that's refreshing in today's college basketball. So they did lose a lot, but the guys that they kept, it's a group that, I really like, and I think they just play their tails off. They're never going to be outworked. And that was on display in Vegas. And they're a really difficult team on a short prep, even though the Houston game came after a couple of days. But that was just an amazing win over Houston to take that 73-70, take it in overtime too. Remarkable week for the Aztecs, and now tonight they get back into it at Fresno State. No rest for the weary. And this is a program now that has a real chance. I mean, they have 5 games in the month of December, and I don't see any reason why they can't win all 5 of them.
John, what do you make of the NIL tournament that they were just in, and then how that might evolve in college basketball going forward? Is like that might be the type of tournament that you see around the country because NIL is so important.
Well, I was skeptical when this event came about, and I think everybody was, because we didn't know how it would work and what's there to gain financially. I think what you have is a group of people who are at some pretty large corporations. Ever Wonder is a corporation that let me be honest when I say, like, I think that they're just they funded a lot of this, and for them it's more of a passion creative project than anything. Of course you want to make revenue off it, but you guys turned on the game and the floor looked like it was like a NASCAR uniform with the amount of sponsors that were on the floor. But I was thinking the whole time, I'm like, you know what? This could work. This is different. It's got a little bit of a wrinkle to it. It's just kind of refreshing to see. And I think in the NIL era, anybody that's willing to embrace NIL opportunities, no matter what they are, if you've got the money to play with, you're going to be able to succeed. And the people who ran this tournament deserve a lot of credit for putting on a first-class event, because by accounts from all the coaches, Seth Berger, who's at Orifice and headed up this Players Era tournament, he worked with Intersport. And this is deep in the weeds now, but I'm just telling everybody out there, Intersport, they run the Greenbrier tip-off. You saw Pitt play Wisconsin. They run the Fort Myers event. Michigan beat Xavier there last week. Talk to anybody who runs an Intersport event, and they will tell you they know what they're doing. The guy who ran this event, Seth Berger, picked Intersport to help run it. He got the NIL dollars to fund it. He gave the coaches and players first-class treatment. They didn't have to leave the building. Their hotels were attached to the arena. It was really easy to get in and out. It was like the NCAA tournament bubble. It allows your teams to focus, to lock in, to spend time together. This is the future because there's NIL money. Coaches don't want to get on a 12-hour plane to Maui and play in Hawaii. If I am running Maui right now, if I'm running the Maui Invitational, I am on the phone with Seth Berger. I am on the phone with NIL people because I need to preserve my event. The only way you're preserving an event like that takes 12 hours of travel is if you have some money involved. The only way that these event holders pulled a Thanksgiving week-long event off in Vegas that had 2 gap days, it won't next year, but had 2 gap days, the only way you do it is by funding it. 2-game MTEs where it's back-to-back days, like the Fort Myers tip-off. The Charleston Classic has 3, but Battle for Atlantis has 3 games in 3 days. You can pull that off. But when you're going in a location that's a little bit outside the box for East Coast teams, San Diego State, close to Vegas, you got to be able to generate NIL funding. This did. And it's a huge benefit to the Aztecs that Brian Dutcher said, you know what, we need to do this event because now he's in the door. And once you're in the door with this event, you stay in this event.
John Fantz of Fox Sports with us. It's funny, you just went down that path. I wasn't going to ask this, but I will. About what Dan Hurley said about Maui, right? We're not going to do the 3-game MTE. We'll play home and homes. We'll play marquee events. What's your reaction? I just think back. I was in Maui 2 years ago. San Diego State lost heartbreakers there. They went 1-2. They end up in the national championship game against UConn. That year, they lost a heartbreaking game there to Arkansas. Lamont Butler had, I think, 2 costly mistakes late in that game. The game was completely stolen from them. And you're thinking, well, maybe they don't want to go back. They went 1-2. Well, they learn from it, and they make it all the way to the national championship game. What was your reaction to what Dan Hurley said?
Well, I think Dan Hurley was speaking on that, knowing that he has a benefit, guys, that not many others do to the same degree.
Yeah.
Dan Hurley has TV networks calling him trying to make games happen. I could tell you on this show, there are strong efforts. I haven't even reported this. For Jon and Jim, you guys are getting it first here. There have been a lot of efforts between Connecticut and Duke and UConn and Syracuse to make a couple of games happen between, UConn, Syracuse, UConn, Duke, a series. The television partners, meaning Fox, NBC, and now Turner for the Big East, they all want these big games. UConn has the luxury of, they can reach out to a network and say, can we make a game happen at the Garden on Saturday, December 14th?
Right.
And the Garden comes back and says, yeah, we'll have you play Gonzaga. And it'll be part of a multi-year series. ESPN will take this game out in Washington, and you'll get Gonzaga back at the Garden. But, you won't have to play Gonzaga at the Kennel. When Hurley's talking there, he's talking like a coach of the back-to-back reigning champions who he doesn't need any more MTE games than he's offered. He's got more offers right now than he has slots available. it's easy for him to say that. That's my take on what he said.
Sure.
He did say it out of malice. He was pissed off that he went 0-3, but he felt that way going into it. At the end of the day, going out to Maui costs your school $350,000 to $400,000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a fair point, John.
A lot of money.
Real quick before you go, San Diego. I don't know if we've had you on to comment on this. San Diego State and Gonzaga in the same league, beginning in 2026. What's the impact?
Phenomenal. Can't wait for it. I think it's a game changer for San Diego State, and I think it's something that Gonzaga had to do. The WCC is just not good enough for them as a league, but for the Aztecs to be meeting Gonzaga in Big 12 games, and for a couple of their Mountain West colleagues to be going with them that I really like, I think that this is a win-win in every way for San Diego State between all their sports. But I think it's huge for basketball because San Diego State Gonzaga can be a real rivalry, and now it's going to be with this move. But when you include some of those others that are coming with them, Colorado State and Boise State and Utah State, there's some really good programs in there, and I think you're in for a league that's going to be a lot of fun out west in an area that right now the West has no identity. San Diego State and Gonzaga being in the same league gives the western part of the country real identity.
Love the perspective, John.
Love it.
Happy holidays. I know it's early. We'll catch up at some point again, hopefully right after the new year as we get towards March Madness once again. But we appreciate you hopping on in San Diego, man.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John and Jim. Happy holidays.
John Fanta, Fox Sports. Nobody like him. Covers college basketball. Great to connect earlier today. All right, Aztec basketball at 7:30. Pregame coverage at 7. Sean Lewis Show. Special edition of the show on National Signing Day at 6. Jim's Back Page next. All right, hey guys, it is Schaefer, and stop letting high interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days thanks to Loan Pronto's new Rapid Equity Loan. Listen up, homeowners. Imagine a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's all-new Rapid Equity Loan uses AI-driven technology to get you approved for cash out in as little as 1 day. One client got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out their debt, launched a home improvement project, now saving over $1,000 a month. Huge money. Instant approvals, low fixed rates, fast transfers. Get cash to consolidate all your debt and get a fresh start for the new year. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much you qualify for. Imagine this time next week, you could be credit card debt free. Don't wait. Get your cash fast. Call 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org. All right, final time with Jon and Jim, but we do have the Sean Lewis Show on this National Signing Day coming up in about 15 minutes at 6 p.m. Pre-game coverage for Fresno State on the road tonight. The Save Mart Center will begin at 7 p.m. That game's going to tip off around 7:40 or so tonight. Actually, could be a few minutes after that. And we got a big night in store for Aztec fans here on San Diego Sports 760.
Big night.
What are you doing tonight before we get to the whatever you do?
Well, after the show, I'm going to go grocery shopping, go to Trader Joe's, and then head home, make some dinner, watch the Aztecs, and
that's a good night.
Pretty much
Pretty good night.
Yeah.
And we're back tomorrow.
Yeah.
We think.
It's tomorrow's
That's
only
Thursday.
Oh, I thought it was only. I thought for some reason in my head, like it's Tuesday still.
And tomorrow we'll have
God help us.
Chris Hodge on the show. Cynthia Freeland typically joins us on Friday. We got a couple of, just be with us next couple of days.
Just be with us.
Just trust me.
Just trust us.
Just keep listening for forever.
Just always
trust
listen.
it.
Always watch the show on YouTube. Jon
Trust
and Jim
us.
760. Always listen on the iHeartRadio app.
That's right.
Trust us.
All right, let's get to it.
John is completely checked out of this segment.
Okay,
You're watching
truth is,
Seton
I'm-
Hall and
NJIT.
Oh, it's Seton Hall.
Do you know the NJIT?
Seton Hall, Seton Hall.
Seton Hall, NJIT, the Highlanders.
Are you serious right now?
Little known fact, I called their games for 1 year.
Are you being for serious right now?
I'm dead serious. Seton Hall, NJIT, why wouldn't I be watching? These schools are separated by 2 miles. It's like the biggest rival. This is Michigan, Ohio State.
Nobody cares.
I know, you asked.
Nobody cares.
I'm watching. Now, Seton Hall's up 11-2, so I don't know if I'm going to watch the whole thing. This is John's back page.
Stupid.
It's so dumb. Tell me something. I'll try to listen.
Okay, great. A couple weeks ago on the back page, I mentioned that you could buy a legitimate Tumbler Batmobile from the Dark Knight movies.
Yeah.
Well, we found somebody who has bought
Yeah, I saw that.
Who?
a Batmobile from the Dark Knight movies. Joe Burrow. Joe
Really?
Burrow has purchased a $3 million black Batmobile.
$3 million bucks.
That he can't drive on the street because it's not street
You guys just
legal.
like keep it like at your house.
Where's he going to get that kind of money?
Well, he's
playing quarterback.
on a 5-year, $275
Do a
million
lemonade stand
deal.
or something.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
he's got enough money.
That's crazy to me.
He's gonna get on that flight with me.
Yeah, I'm sure.
75%.
Dude, $3 million bucks?
$3 million, dude.
Imagine
I can't.
having $3 million to spend on some fake vehicle.
I can't.
Well, it's real.
Okay.
Dunkin' Donuts, John.
Yeah.
Now this is interesting to me because they're launching their winter menu.
In Canada.
No, their winter menu
Czechoslovakia.
on December 31st.
Yeah, we in the winter.
Yeah,
They
but
nailed it.
why not like right now? It's December 31st. Like
Are you sure it's not 21st or 22nd? Because that's like the solstice.
says we're getting Dunkin' Donuts post holiday blues with their winter menu dropping
Holiday blues.
12/31.
Okay.
Here's some new drinks and food items headed your way.
Yeah.
The brown sugar shaken espresso. I would crush that. A lava cake signature latte.
Yeah.
A new lava cake coffee.
Sure.
A brown sugar oat iced matcha latte. And a raspberry lava cake coffee. You can also get a whoopie pie specialty donut, an iced lemon loaf cake, or a new brownie batter or Cupid's Choice donut and Valentine Munchkin, which starts on January 29th.
Can I do a timeout? I'm serious right now for a second about John's back page. Fox Sports 1. Just hear me out for 1 second. I know you don't care. You can't put Baylor UConn into Kansas Creighton, into San Diego State, Fresno State with no time between the games. This UConn Baylor game is 2 hours and 21 minutes old. So like it's backing everything up. You're going to care tonight when you're cooking your dinner and the only way to watch the Aztecs is on the Fox Sports app.
That's what you got. I know.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
You know what I mean? Like you
bull.
got to have time between the games.
I don't
It's so
like
annoying.
it. It's annoying. You're going to miss the first
Figure it out.
7 minutes of the Aztecs.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be under 12 media timeout before they get to it on TV.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
and it's going to start late, and you're still not going to get to it on time.
No, it's ridiculous. So listen on San Diego Sports 760.
100%.
Listen to Ted. I do have a story from Canada, John, especially for you and today and Darnay. Today in Canada, at Subways in Canada, if you purchase any footlong sub, you'll score a free footlong cookie in Canada.
Footlong cookie?
Yeah, in Canada.
But you have to be in Canada.
Yeah, so anybody driving to Canada tonight, get a Subway sandwich.
So close.
You'll be there by whenever.
By daybreak. No, you won't. It'll take forever.
What do you make of that?
How far is it to Canada?
It's far.
Like if I go to Canadian border, Google Maps, can I do that?
At least I read a story that I knew was from Canada.
Right, true. Work to Canadian border.
That might be a little bit of a drive.
Yeah, it doesn't want to take me there. It's far. It'd be better if it was the Mexican border.
Type in Toronto.
Oh, how about Vancouver? Because Vancouver's right above us.
Type in Vancouver.
We're so close.
Very close. So just a hop and a skip away.
So Vancouver, BC, we can get there in a car, and I don't know how long. It'll 23 hours.
That's not bad.
That's not bad. By tomorrow night, you're there and you're enjoying your cookie.
It's only available today.
You're an idiot.
So you better be on your way there.
Wasted.
You got to be almost there.
Okay.
You're
get there. It's
just
closing.
You would have to just get there right now.
For all of our Spokane listeners or north of Seattle listeners. Okay.
Finally, we've mentioned Crumble a lot on this show.
No, you've mentioned Crumble a lot.
I mentioned Crumble a lot on this show. Crumble Cookie is teaming up with Dove.
The soap
for a limited edition cookie scented body care product.
Oh, I was joking.
Dove and Crumble are partnering up to create a line of soap. The collection would include scents like confetti cake, sugar, and strawberry crumble, and lemon glaze.
Hear me out real quick. Lemon glaze is amazing. Jones has it at home, and he's hitting one right now that we give him pieces of because literally never off walls. Yeah. But hear me out. What about the other way? And turn the cookies soap? No, the soap into cookies. So when your kid is bad, eat this Crumble cookie soap flavor.
I thought it was going to be Dove chocolate.
The soap. The official release date has not been confirmed, but products are already popping up at Walmart.com.
All right, that's Walmart.com and start racing over that Canadian border. Wash yourself